seconds. It's worth tens of thousands of dollars less just because they picked it up. Where does that money go, Rick? It stays in our customers' pockets, Bob, because we sell those same RVs just a few years later. If it wasn't for new RV buyers, we'd be out of business. That's why we give thanks every year. You make it all possible.
NobleRV.ca.
It's like a locker room, minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Carius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for sports.
The Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
I believe lunged that home for his second power play goal tonight. Edmonton does take its first win of the night.
Well, wicked Wednesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks so much for listening and watching, man. Our numbers continue to grow on our social platforms. Our radio audience is growing, so we're very excited about it. Thanks so much for always continuing to make us part of your day, whether it's for 15 minutes or for 4 hours. We love it. Thanks so much. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where, of course, you can get in the game, the OG of lotteries, Lotto 649. You can get your tickets tonight for that draw. And best of luck, $12 million up for grabs at PlayAlberta.ca. And as always, the Jason Gregor Show odd boosts. Hey, man, we're riding the Sabres. How can you not? The Sabres are on fire. So we got a little Sabres and maybe even the Rangers, right? Could they win a home game? It's possible. A little Toronto Raptors for you as well. So you can check it out at playalberta.ca. We got lots to talk about on the show today. The Edmonton Oilers, 14-1-2 in their last 17 against the Nashville Predators. They were unable to skate away with a victory last night. Had some chances for sure. They led at various times in the game, but were unable to hold on as they went up 3-2 before Roman Josi tied the game, and then in overtime, Josi wins. Now, there's a lot of talk about, the Oilers were tired, and yeah, they probably were. Well, Roman Josi had been out longer than anybody. He'd been out for a minute 50 of that time. And basically, Nashville played two sets of three, and the Oilers played two sets of three. Do I think you could have a conversation that maybe you could go two guys, then another two guys, then another two, and then back to Draisaitl and Connor McDavid? Yeah, I think it's a valid question considering the lack of overtime success lately for the Edmonton Oilers. But when Zach Hyman, I look at, Zach Hyman had two goals. You know, he had one shift. Nugent Hopkins had a shift. Kapanen was out there in overtime as well for a brief time. So I guess they did use five forwards, right, at various times. But I don't know. I felt that, and even Roslovic got a shift. So I guess they did go 1, 2, 3. And then you go back to McDavid. Now they got out there long. I looked at it again, and I didn't really notice an obvious place to change. Right? There was not an obvious one where you look and say, okay, here's where they can change. All right? Ryan O'Reilly had been out there basically the exact same time as McDavid and Draisaitl. They came on the ice at virtually the same time. Roman Josi had been on the ice earlier. So I don't know if it was horrible coaching. I know everybody always wants to blame someone. Hey, Jari came out. Would he have liked to have shot the puck out of the zone more? Yes. But I still thought it was the right play. They would have had a breakaway, and it's going to happen. I had more issues with the 60 minutes of regulation time where that was a slop fest. How many errant passes did the Edmonton Oilers have in that game? Like, my goodness. And if you watch in that game, like Ike Howard, he made a great read. He's low in the zone, makes a really good read, intercepts the pass, and then gives it right away. And that's what happens with young players. And hey, I said it before the game started, I wouldn't have taken Curtis Lazar out of the game. I would have just taken Mangiapane out. Like, Mangiapane, did he do anything? Honestly, how could the Oilers trade him right now? If they trade him, Stan Bowman's a magician, because he is doing very little, bordering on nothing. So, I know Bowman's obviously doing his best to try to trade. And do I think Mangiapane could offer more? Sure. I don't think he's going to be this bad for the rest of this season. But when I look at the Oilers makeup now with Podkolzin and Kapanen back, I just don't see where he fits in on your team. And Roslovic back, not Podkolzin. He hasn't missed a game. But Roslovic back, Kapanen's back. Where does he fit? Not your top 9. Right? I don't see how he is. I know he's playing there right now, but I don't have him as a top 9 guy. So we'll see what they do. They're going to try to move him, but it's hard to, now, not impossible. 2 different things. It is hard to trade a player away who's struggling, who makes $3.6 million for this year, next year. I have no doubt in my mind. Especially, to just trade him away for nothing. There's not many teams that are just gladly going to say, hey, we'll take on $3.6 million in cap space for this year and next year. That's, you all say that you think that he's terrible, but then you expect the team to take, why would a team take him? I know that Ottawa. Okay, but Ottawa is Steve Staios just going to take on 3.6? They've got about, 4.8 million in cap space right now. But look at who would they want to move? Right? They don't have anybody like Lars Eller. I guess they'd probably say, hey, do you want to take Lars Eller off of your hands? He's not going to play in Edmonton. He's 1.25 salary. Then you probably could just, send him to the minors if you had to. But, I don't see Lars Eller as somebody that's overly enticing for the Oilers, but you probably got to take something back in return for sure to make it work. But I didn't love the Oilers' puck management last night. I thought look at their first shift. The first shift was terrible. It started right from the opening faceoff, and they never really got on track yesterday. So the Oilers, they got 2 more games here this week, 3. They play tomorrow, and they play Saturday, Sunday. And if they could find a way to win 2 out of 3, to me, that's a big victory, because after that, they've got 32 games remaining, and their schedule is incredibly favorable. When you look at who they play, how often they play, and how often the Oilers have to play back-to-back, how few times they have to play 3 games in 4 days compared to how many their opponents are playing 3 games in 4 days, second half of back-to-backs. Look at their homestand coming up. New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Washington, Anaheim, all 4 teams will be playing their 3rd game in 4 nights and second half of a back-to-back. You can't ask for a better schedule than that if you're the Edmonton Oilers. You're at home, you're playing every second day, you're going to be rested. It's a good situation. Their first game, they're also their 3rd game in 4 nights for Edmonton, because they'll play Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. But then after that, they only play 3 and 4, where they play that 3rd game in 4 nights twice the rest of the season. So Get through this week, find a way to win 2 out of 3. That to me has got to be the goal. Tomorrow's going to be a tough game against the Islanders. Not impossible. The Islanders just gave up a 5 spot to the Winnipeg Jets last night. That doesn't happen very often for the Islanders. So you know that Sorokin's human. He got beat by 5 last night. That just doesn't happen, right? You look at the Islanders this season; they've allowed 5+ goals 6 times, and I'd have to look to see how many of those included an empty net goal. So they that was a kind of an off night for the Islanders defensively last night, right? Matthew Schaefer, the rookie, scored his 13th goal of the season late in the game, but still, that kid might set the all-time record for most goals by a rookie defenseman, and he's only 18. He's 5 goals away from breaking Phil Housley's record of 17 goals by an 18-year-old defenseman. So that is pretty impressive, man. I will say it is pretty impressive. But the Islanders, they usually don't give up that much. So I would expect them to be a little bit better tomorrow against the Oilers. Ilya Sorokin, that was only the first game all year he allowed 5. He's allowed 4, numerous times. So that's why when they've allowed 5, like with the goalie in net, the Islanders have only allowed, and Dave Rittich was in net for 3 of them. So 4 times they've allowed 5 goals with a goalie in net. So they've been pretty good defensively. That's going to be the tough game. And when I look at Connor McDavid's streak, right now, that's the game. If he gets a point against the Islanders, man, he could go on a really good run the rest of the month. The Canucks he beats up for fun, right? St. Louis at home. They're not a great team. They're all right. And then after that, they got the rest of the month up until that Minnesota game against teams playing second half of back-to-back or third game in 4 nights. So it should be advantageous for them. I've got a really good show for you today. Mike Rupp, as always, will join us. It's Wednesday. Sal Capaccio will join us. We start previewing NFL weekend. The Bills on the road in Denver. What's Josh Allen got up his sleeve? And how healthy or how injured are the Bills going to be for that game this weekend? Your Remchuck will be by. We got the Business of Sport with Rich Winter. And today we're going to talk how technology interacts with sports. Also, the Business of Sports. We'll talk about promotion and marketing at the junior hockey levels, the challenges of it, what makes it good, what makes it bad. Spec, DVD. We'll be by. We got the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. So busy show as always. We'll take your texts 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's, I haven't heard anyone question Knobloch putting out the 4th line right after scoring a goal. Well, Jipalipa, if you've been paying attention, he's actually done that quite often lately, and it's been fine. So that's not the first time. He's actually done it fairly frequently this year in games where you score a goal. The fourth line's played pretty well. I've had no issues with the 4th line here in those last 2 games. I thought they played pretty well. I didn't have an issue with it. You look at how they dominated really in the in that game in Chicago, and I know that Roman Josi, they scored on that goal afterwards, but I wouldn't. I don't know if it was like Howard. That's just, hey, it's unfortunate play, man. Like he made the right read initially, but then just kind of tossed the puck away, and you can't do it. But it wasn't from bad position. Now, I said my bigger criticism would have been if you had Lazar in the game, then Howard wouldn't have been on the ice for that shift. He would have been on the 3rd line, which is where I probably would have played him. But and that's not hindsight. I said it before the show yesterday that I wouldn't have changed the 4th line and I would have taken out Mangiapane. So now we'll never know if someone else is on the ice with the result of being different. We'll never know. But he's been putting the 4th line out going back months here at times after goals and doesn't have a problem with it. So I know Nashville scored on it, but if they score one time, it doesn't mean that it's always a bad decision. It just happened to happen last game. It's kind of how it goes. So the like Jack Ross, I'm kind of curious, Connor, where did he come out on Roslovic at center ice? I find with it, I know it sounds odd because you want all the speed down the middle. I find he was more dangerous playing the wing.
Yeah,
I feel like if you give me the opportunity to put a guy with what he was doing offensively at the start of the year with a Draisaitl or a McDavid, I think he's going to be a little bit more dangerous playing with a world-class player. I don't mind it if you need to. Like if it's a necessity and he's got to drop back there, do it, anchor the line for a game or two. But if you give me the choice, I want him in the top 6, trying to kind of keep those numbers up that he had to start the season, Gregor. And that was, without a training camp, like he was kind of finding his footing and he still looked really good. So if needed, I'm okay with it, but it's not my top priority. I want to get him in the top 6.
Yeah. Hey, Gregor, last night the Oilers played against one of the 3 remaining players who doesn't wear a visor. Can you name them? All are Western Conference players. Well, it's still 4. I know a lot of people are trying to say Jamie Benn doesn't wear a visor. He still does. He just didn't wear. He wore a visor for one game, and he says, I'm taking it off. So you got Jamie Benn. You got Ryan O'Reilly. You have Reeves in San Jose. And I think there's one other one whose name escapes me right now. But O'Reilly, Ben, Reeves for sure. Is there another one, Cons? Unless he's including Ben.
Zach Bogosian.
Bogosian, the other one. There you go. So, yeah. Because Jamie, I know people are, it's down to 3. Jamie Benn only wore a visor because he had the injury, but he says it's temporary. He's going to go back to not wearing. And you play your whole career with it. And the injury that happened was for him to fall and smash his face on the ice. Like, what are the odds that's going to happen again? Now, a stick or a puck in the face, that happens. But how he fell like that, no. I could see why he's going to go back to it. Like, he's played his whole career without a visor. It would be very difficult, just sight lines, everything else for him to get used to it. One of them is going to be, the Craig McTavish of visors. Right? And I don't know. I don't think it'll be as memorable as Mac T's no helmet compared to the visor, because there's lots of players who have been in the NHL longer than Jamie Benn, Crosby, Ovechkin, etc., Malkin, that they just wore a visor right from the get-go, and Ben opted not to, and he's played over 1,200 games without it, and I fully expect that that'll continue. Bogosian, I don't think he's going to outlast the other ones. I think it's going to come down to Ben or O'Reilly as which one, basically, who just has the longer career. I don't think either one of them is ever going to go to a visor full time. It's just going to come down to who has the longer career. We'll see. Hey, Greggs, I know you mentioned it many times. Would you put Nugent Hopkins as a 3C? Personally, yes, I would. And I've outlined it why, and I think the numbers match it. Now, I think they might wait until McDavid's streak ends. He's been on the ice for that. I know that not all the points are 5-on-5, and I know not all the points involve Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but it's just some people are a little stitious, some are superstitious, some are mid-stitious. Whatever stitious level you are, that's a factor. So I think that'll play a role in it, right? And then we'll see. So now that might last that could last another 20 games. Who knows, right? Kudos to McDavid. He becomes the 4th active player to have a 20-game point streak. Had 2 more points last night. He's up to 45 in 20. Not bad. Not bad at all. But the Oilers, hey, they got to come back. The Islanders and the Oilers, both of them lost. Edmonton's coming home from Nashville. The Islanders are coming from Winnipeg, so it's a little bit farther to travel for Edmonton. Not a huge amount more. And, both the Oilers had the day off today. The Islanders didn't skate today. And then they'll both be on the ice for morning skate tomorrow. And, hey, it's our chance to see Matthew Schaefer live in person. Should be good. Also, Ilya Sorokin, not bad. Not bad at all. So I'm looking forward to seeing both of those guys play in person tomorrow night. A few other notes from around the NHL. We talked about it a little bit later in the show when it was announced that Braden Point is out week to week. And I crunched some numbers today. I wrote about it at Oilers Nation, but I really dug deep into the fact that Zach Hyman, the run that he's on. So since December 1st, here's the Canadian players with the most points in the NHL. Connor McDavid, 46. McKinnon, he has 37. Celebrini, 33. Mark Stone, 25. So a lot of people are like, why is Mark Stone on the team? That's why he's on the team, because he's produced. And he was on the team last year. Then, 5th in points, Zach Hyman. However, who's 3rd in goals? Zach Hyman. He's got 15. McKinnon has 16. McDavid has 19. And when you look at a short tournament, you look at chemistry, you look at what a good forechecker Zach Hyman is. Braden Point, I've watched the video numerous times. His own coach says it's week to week. They basically got 3 weeks because Team Canada will be leaving the weekend of February 6th. Some guys, I talked to Connor. He wasn't sure what day he was going to leave yet because the Oilers finish up on the Wednesday. The NHL season ends on the Thursday. And so some guys will go Friday. Some guys are going to go on their own. There's not like a specific charter yet for the team. At least McDavid wasn't sure there was at that time. So we'll see. But they're going to leave around the 6th or 7th, maybe 5th. Who knows? Depends on the player. So if you're Braden Point, that means you've got to show that you're ready to go. Like, I have to think he has to play a regular season game, at least one in February to show Team Canada that he's cleared to play. Now, I haven't looked up the rules on when they can announce the change. Obviously, you can, but I don't know how late it is. But if he doesn't play a game by February 4th, are they going to say, well, I'll be ready in a week? Like, I guess so. But usually, historically, and, Strutty told that story yesterday, and I know Ryan Smith did, and other guys have done it. But you got to get in and show everybody that you can play. So I think for Braden Point, he's got a few weeks. And if not, which would really suck for him. Let's call a spade here. Olympics, in a lot of cases, are once-in-a-lifetime experience. There's some unique athletes who get to go to multiple ones. And, it's once every 4 years. Now, Braden Point is full marks. In the last 3 NHL seasons, no Canadian player has more goals than Braden Point. So make no mistake, that guy has earned the right to go. Now, maybe in 4 years, in 2030, he'll still be there. But I can't say it for sure. And because of that, that would be a big blow for him if he can't go. But, man, I watched how that knee bent. Didn't look good. So there's Zach Hyman. There's Sam Bennett. There's Mark Scheifele, who, by the way, all have 23 points since December 1st. The difference is Hyman has 15 goals. Bennett has 10. Scheifele has 9. And Scheifele and Bennett are more natural centers where Hyman's a winger. And I think the Oilers, Team Canada is looking for a winger to play with McDavid. Celebrini can be your left winger. You need a right winger. Not Bennett, not Scheifele. Seth Jarvis, I don't think so. Konechny maybe, but even then, Wyatt Johnson, probably not. I think Zach Hyman might be the best fit. So, well, especially the way he keeps playing, man. Why not? So we'll talk to that with Mike Rupp and more when we return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Saturday nights were made for Oil Kings Hockey and Ice District. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Saturday, your Edmonton Oil Kings face the Tri-City Americans at Rogers Place for the first time in 2 seasons.
The Oil Kings will be wearing a specialty fan-designed jersey that'll be auctioned and raffled off with proceeds going to charity.
Plus, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less.
The Edmonton Oil Kings get a rare visit from the Tri-City Americans, Saturday at 7.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Clear out the old and make room for new trends. The Brick is holding their store-wide inventory clearance event. Scratch and dent, last year's models, and overstock is up to 70% off. Score mattresses starting at just $99. Sofas starting at just $3.99. And dining chairs starting at just $28. And this Friday to Monday, check out incredible 4-day deals, like save the tax when you buy 2 or more eligible major appliances. Check out the Brick in Edmonton with 4 locations. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
If everybody had a nose across the USA.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWL. Get your power play amped up with EWL, supplying the City of Champions with Alberta. City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EWL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
226, welcome back. Some other big news today in the CFL, and this is not a surprise to me. Everybody was freaking out. Oh my God, they're going to ruin the last 3 minutes of the game. No, they're not. The new 35-second play clock comes in this season. However, the last 3 minutes of each half will still use the 20-second clock. So anybody who was worried that the most exciting ends to the game are going to be changed, they're not. Like, it was such an easy, rational thing. Everybody overreacted. You had people claiming that the commissioner was ruining the league. I know that we're in an era everybody likes to overreact because they think it's fun, but I know I thought that was a little weird. I'm like, can't they just keep it the same? Yes, they kept it the same. Now, the interesting news is no more ties in the CFL. Now, they don't happen very often, but there will be no ties. The 2 mini games that we've seen already will be played, and then after that, 2-point converts attempts until there's a winner. So it's kind of like a shootout, but with 2-point convert attempts. So there you go. That's there are not going to be any ties anymore in the CFL. Anything else? Well, I guess the one difference will be if you attempt a field goal and it hits the uprights or the ball goes all the way through the end zone, sails through the end zone, right? Then the ball is automatically going to be spotted on the 40-yard line. So it's a minor little tweak. But the bigger ones are the 3-minute clock and no ties in the CFL. I'm on board for both. I like it. Let's go around the NHL now, brought to you by McDonald's. And McDonald's on 590 Baseline Road is in Sherwood Park is closing for renovation. So visit them before February 2nd, and you'll get a discount card valid at all the other Sherwood Park locations. So, little benefit for you because then they're going to be out of service for a bit. It's brought to you by McDonald's as we are joined by Mike Rupp from the NHL Network, Stanley Cup winner. Rupper, how you doing?
What's up, Gregs? How are you, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. There's lots going on right now. I want to get your thoughts quickly as somebody who covers the league, somebody who played in the league. And Connor McDavid has a 20-game point streak. He has 45 points in the 20 games, Rupper, which is pretty impressive, right? There's a lot of NHL players who 45 points in a season is a really good year. Never mind 20 games. Like, the guy's on pace. That's at like 185, 188 point pace in a full season, which is fun. But is this the best you've seen McDavid in the regular season?
Well, just for some comparables, that's half of a career for me. What Connor's doing right now. Is it the best? It's got to be right there. I think you and I spoke about that shortened season where he had 105 points. That was pretty impressive. But I mean, what has he not done that hasn't impressed people? You know what I mean? He's been I mean, he's on a run right now, and it's fun because I love when guys are in the midst of that because we're watching Connor McDavid any chance we can, and it's must watch television for anybody, any fan of any team. But I think when you're in the middle of this right now, and I'm flipping through my games at night, I'm like, oh, let's get over to Edmonton and see what what McDavid's look like. So it's so good. The run he's on right now it's not supposed to happen like that in our game anymore. And I don't mean that from the standpoint like that part of history, in some regards, was supposed to be just that history in the past. And he's bringing it in a lot of regards to now. I mean, that part's crazy to me. It's not supposed to be able to be like this, and Connor makes it like that.
Yeah. It is wild. So you're right, Rapper. Look, 99 points. God, you didn't want to stick around just to get that one other point, eh? What a joke. You should have went to some coach. Hey, coach, just put me in the lineup here. I just need one more point. One more point.
We should go back to video replay on some of these and see if I actually touched the puck or not. Actually, don't do that. I may have gotten a few extras.
It's funny you say that. Exactly. Reminds me of Struddy. He challenged a test once in high school because he didn't agree with the mark. He rewrote it and got a worse mark.
That's great.
Oh, it's awesome. So, yeah, you don't want to go back in there. Let's go over everyone at Rupper's point. Actually, you know what? This wasn't your goal.
No, we're good.
Down to 98. Yeah, you don't want to change that. No chance. Hey, obviously what McDavid's doing is, and McKinnon's right there. It's and you were the first guy to really say this about 6-8 weeks ago or 7. You said, hey, you know what? I'd like to see these two go like mano a mano for the rest of the way. And so far, so good, as they're exchanging blows really each night when the other guy plays. John Cooper has never won Coach of the Year. And you know what? I get it, because it seems at times the Coach of the Year is given out to the guy who has a bad team, and then they suddenly become a good team. And even if they change a few players, it's like, well, it had to be the coach. And there's probably some truth in a small part, but definitely not all of it. But Tampa Bay has won 11 consecutive games. Now, they've done it. Victor Hedman on the back end hasn't played a game. Emil Lilleberg hasn't played a game in the 11. And by the way, people are like, who the hell is Emil Lilleberg? He's the guy who was playing 20 minutes a night for them before. Ryan McDonough has only played 2 games. Eric Cernak has played 7, and him and McDonough never played the same game. You know what I mean? So basically, it's Darren Radish, J.J. Moser, Charles-Edouard Destu, Max Crozier, and Declan Carlisle. Those guys have played all 11, and a lot of people listening are like, who the hell are the last 3? Right? They haven't really heard of them. John Cooper has always been good. This might be the best coaching year he's ever done. Right now, he's got to be the front runner for the Jack Adams.
100%. I mean, I think too often you mentioned it that we punish coaches for having good teams consistently because we're like, oh, they're supposed to be good. But I think maybe you needed a season like this to show how good John Cooper actually is. And that coaching staff, because that's a big part of it too. When these guys win Jack Adams awards, they'll be the first ones to tell you it's not just them, it's their assistants, it's everything. And but this is a team that if you were to look at the man games lost on their back end this year, you are supposed to struggle, not be who I think is the only team right now in the East. Like they're an exceptionally better team than everybody else in the East right now. And it's easy to say that. You'd be like, yeah, Rupper, they won 11 in a row. I thought this prior to this. Like they're just a team that they're so impressive how they're finding ways. They win a game without Brayden Point right now. Hopefully that's not too long. But it just doesn't matter what's going on with them. I mean, Brayden Point, with all this being said and the way they kind of navigated this year, Brayden Point hasn't had the year that he's not healthy now. He hasn't had a great season. For Brayden Point, it has not been a great season. Hagel had a slow start. Then he just got on fire. You mentioned Darren Radish. I mean, what was it? I don't have it in front of me. I did 39 points in 38 games or something like that. Insane. I'm like, what are we talking about here? So I just find that not only getting wins, but putting players in situations to succeed, that's a job of a coach. And I think John Cooper is the absolute best in the game in that regard. And I'm shocked that he hasn't won a Jack Adams yet.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. But right now, he would be the front runner for me for certain. And Tampa Bay, I think, no question, is the best team in the East. But right behind him, and now because they've played more games, but Detroit's only a game back. The Montreal Canadiens a point back. Montreal's only 2 points back. And, Tampa does have game in hand on them. But the Montreal Canadiens and the Detroit Red Wings, I know Montreal made the playoffs last year. They squeaked in, got 91 points. But like they look like a legit team this year. The Detroit Red Wings look like a legit team to me. Like I'll be stunned right now from what I've seen from both of them if neither makes the playoffs or only one of them makes the playoffs. I think they're both playoff teams. Like I'm confident enough to say now I think they're both going to make it unless they get some horrible string of injuries.
Yeah, I mean, they've got some punch back in them. And I think that's what you've been waiting for them to have the last couple of years where, you know, it hasn't been hunky-dory all season long. And Montreal Canadiens, they started off, they looked great, and then they didn't. And you kind of thought it was going to be a little bit of a market correction for them, but they've punched back now. And they're finding ways to get points in games. So I think that's been really impressive. I think Detroit, I thought was a little further along, although Montreal made the playoffs last year. I thought Detroit is a team that we're going to start seeing them really make some strides in the next coming years. They look really good to me. Here's the one thing, though, like when we're comparing those, and this is what's so different. When we're talking about those two teams and Tampa, you mentioned 1 point, Detroit's behind Tampa, and then 2 points back is Montreal. You don't even need to go to the regulation wins. We'll go to the goal differential. 44 goal differential for Tampa, 1 for Detroit, and 5 for Montreal. So, like, they're in the hunt there, these teams. That's just how weird the league is right now, where you're getting points. These teams are getting points, and they're almost tied with a team like Tampa. I just think Tampa is exceptionally better than those two squads. But to your point, I mean, we're getting into that territory where, yeah, I think both may make it. I was originally saying it's one of them, and but I don't know who I feel confident that's going to overtake them, and especially in that Atlantic Division. Like, you know, the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking like a different team right now. They got some work to do. Ottawa Senators don't look like the team they were last year for me. So yeah, they both might be able to make it in.
The Metro Division, Rupper. Are there any good teams in the Metro? Like really, like are there any cup contenders in the Metro?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't mean to just be very, quick on that answer. I just Carolina would be that one that would jump out, and I don't think they're a better team than what we've seen in the last few years. They're a good team. They're one of the most consistent teams in hockey. I don't think they are a true contender, albeit maybe the path is going to be different for a team in the Metro. Maybe it's going to be a little less resistance in some regards. I don't know. I just don't believe in any of the teams as we stand here today that they can win the Stanley Cup coming out of the Metro this year.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like it looks like you got Vegas and Edmonton. You got Colorado, Dallas, maybe Minnesota. We'll see. I'm not there yet with their close. And then Tampa Bay for sure. And I'm still not there in Florida, man. Like Florida, until they can show me, and I get because Barkov's not playing. So yes, when Barkov's back, they're better. But if they're not in the playoffs when Barkov's back, it doesn't matter. They got to get to the playoffs first. And they've yet to really get on a run. And now they start, like they're in it. They're into it now, the Florida Panthers, because of all their road games now. They played so many home games early on. The second half of their season was 26 on the road and 15 at home. So, they got to get going here. They start they did win their first road game in Buffalo, but now they start a stretch here where they have a lot of road games. So we'll see kind of what they are. I know Tkachuk's getting close to coming back, but, what's he going to be like? And can they become a team that wins on the road? They're going to have to if they want to make the playoffs, no question. The Columbus Blue Jackets make the first coaching change of the year, and they bring back young Rick Bowness. What do you make of that move?
I'm a big Rick Bowness fan. I always joke around whenever I see him. I played for Rick for about 5 minutes, and he was one of my favorite coaches in the National Hockey League. I had him. He was actually the interim coach for the Coyotes, and when I got traded there. So I finished the season with him there. He was there. Just the way just the way he connects, the way he gets you to believe in something. You know what I mean? Like he's just got that innate ability to get you to buy in. And I think we've seen that with his teams. And that's really good at what's going to be asked right now. I mean, they got a big win last night against Calgary, the Columbus Blue Jackets did, but they've got a tough road ahead if they want to get into the playoffs here, and that's why you make a move like this. You're not making you're not bringing Rick Bowness in after he's coached in 5 decades and he's been retired, working, doing a great job with TNT in the States. You're not bringing him in to build for the next 3 years. You're bringing him in to get back in the playoff picture this year, and that's what the Columbus Blue Jackets think that they can do. But he has that ability to just get you to everybody to be on the same page, buy-in. He's firm in the way he keeps you accountable, but he does it in this kind of like this fatherly, loving way. If that sounds, that's how it is. He gets you he's like a proud father the way he coaches you, but he also lets you know when, hey, you got more, man. That's not good enough. So. We'll see where this kind of shakes out here with the Columbus Blue Jackets, but Rick is one of the great guys of the game and one of my all-time favorites.
What made him your favorite specifically? What made him such a great coach for you?
He shot you straight. He didn't feel like he was. Let's see if this makes any sense at all. I feel like coaches that don't come across as coaches, that you get a connection with them that's a little different, and that's how Bones came across. Of course, he's the coach, but he would connect with you on a level, just the way he speaks to you. Honestly, the way he looks at you, the way he talks to you, he's got a little smirk, a smile on his face. He can joke around. He's been around the game forever. He'll share some old war stories about this, about that. He just he's firm. He's gonna let you know, hey, you got to be better, or you're not going to play. And so, it's just for whatever way, and he just has this skill of not coming across as a run-of-the-mill coach. And he's had every different role in the business. He's been every assistant coach, associate coach, head coach, defensive teams. He's just a certain thing with him. The way you see other players kind of react with him, have a friendship with him. I remember he was in Vancouver, and every time I played in Vancouver, again, I played 6 games for the guy. I was injured. I was there for 30 games, but I was injured. I only played 6. Every time I went through Vancouver or Tampa when he was down there, Bones would come out on the bench and come talk to you at the practice and pregame skate. He's just different. Guys see that. So yeah, man, I think that's the biggest thing. The way he can interact and socialize with his players.
Well, Rupp joins us. One last one for you, Rupper. Braden Point, it didn't look good. That injury looked awful. They say week to week, and it's probably weeks to weeks. Basically, he's got to get into a game, I would think, before the Olympic break, which means he's basically got 17 days to get in. He'd have to play on February 3rd or 4th, I would think. So I hope he does for his sake. It'd be an awful way to miss the Olympics. But let's say he can't. You've got Bennett. There's Scheifele, Jarvis, Konechny, Bedard, and the guy who's been one of the hottest players amongst Canadians since December 1st, Zach Hyman. 3rd in goals, trails only McKinnon and McDavid in goals. He's 5th in points, and he knows how to play the right wing with McDavid. They tried a lot of different wingers at Four Nations, and none really had success. Do you think the fact that Hyman has come back from his wrist injury and is playing this well, could he get in? Or is Sam Bennett, who I think a lot of us were surprised wasn't on, Connor Bedard, is there someone else you think that would take that spot ahead of Hyman?
The one, if I'm not talking Zach Hyman, the one I would say is Scheifele for me, because I think there's some versatility there and where you could play him in your lineup, center, wing. And you had some of that versatility, I think, with Braden Point. But you mentioned with Zach Hyman, it's an interesting one because I don't know. I mean, these guys, these coaches, and John Cooper's been working and talking and figuring out what they're going to go line wise. I mean, these guys have probably been kicking this around for months and months and months, and going off of the way they evaluated the Four Nations. If you have any question marks on who Connor McDavid's going to play with at this point, my answer would be yes, bring Zach Hyman. Because you can park that, and quite frankly, I don't know if it matters who's on the other side. You have a line there. And here's the other thing, and you don't need all these guys are great players, so it feels foolish saying this, but you don't need one of the greats playing with Connor. Connor can make any player on that roster in that line work. Okay, but you got to find the right mix and who it is. Well, you know that works. So if that's Zach Hyman, throw whoever you want on the other side, and now you can start moving and having some flexibility around the rest of your roster. So I think that's where it's at for me. I'm thinking if you don't know today firmly who you want to see Connor playing with, then Zach Hyman would be my answer.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And you know who I'd want as the left winger, Rupper?
Who?
Macklin Celebrini.
That'd be awesome, actually.
Yeah. So, because I had Celebrini, Point, and McDavid as a line, and then keeping that McKinnon, Crosby, Reinhart as a line.
Mm-hmm.
But with Point coming out, I want a right shot.
Yeah.
And, to me, Zach Hyman makes a lot of sense. I could see why. Like, I get if they wanted to take Sam Bennett because what he did at the Four Nations, what he did in the Stanley Cup Finals, I get it, and he's playing really well right now too. So, but
I don't see that one though. I don't see that one. Yeah. I think that decision was made with Tom Wilson. I don't know.
You're probably right.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's fair. Rupper, great stuff, buddy. We'll talk to you on Friday on the Rundown.
Awesome, buddy. Enjoy.
There you go. That's Mike Rupp from NHL Network. Will return. Can the Road Warrior? Well, I don't know if they're Road Warriors, but if you do something once in 34 years, is it as easy to do it twice now? We'll find out next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly, some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup? That would be awesome.
But completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Wilhauk beef jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Wilhauk beef jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
2:47. Welcome back, Gregor, Hallie, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in our lovely province at PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time for our NFL report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. Furnace conks out middle of the night on the weekend. Give them a call. They'll fix it. No OT charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. And the drought is over. 34 years since the Bills won a road game. It was 1992. But they did it in Jacksonville. Probably the game of the weekend, I thought. It was a really good game. So now that you've done it once in 34 years, Might be easier to do it the second time. And that's what they'll have to do this weekend on the road in Denver. Sal Capaccio, a sideline reporter for the Bills, joins us once again. Sal, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Great to talk to you. Great to see you.
Yeah, you too. Great hairstyle. I love it. The Buffalo Bills, man. Bills Mafia has been waiting for this one. You know, Josh Allen, first ever road win. And I know some people are like, oh, it doesn't matter, but it does matter, because if you eventually want to win the Super Bowl, you're going to have to win, you know, and in the case of the Bills, you'll have to win, it looks like, every game on the road. And that was a tough game, Sal, man. That Jacksonville defense is good. I thought that was the game of the weekend. I want to start with the health, though, of the Bills. God, they got banged up again. Where's their playmakers at? How many of them are going to be ready to go on the weekend?
Yeah, it's a real shame they lost both Gabe Davis and Tyrell Shavers, wide receivers, to torn ACLs during that game. Tyrell Shavers remarkably played 21 snaps in the second half with a torn ACL because they didn't know it was torn until they got back to Buffalo and did some more testing. Pretty incredible. You know, the Bills don't have great wideouts to throw to necessarily. They have a lot of guys who can just do a good job, but where this hurts them more is actually, believe it or not, in the run game, because these are good blocking wide receivers and they've been so good in the run game, the Bills have. So that's going to hurt. And also what's going to hurt them is Ty Johnson, a really good third down back, most likely out for this game. We'll find out. I have Sean McDermott on my radio program tomorrow for a final injury report of the week. And then Jordan Poyer at safety. He has not practiced in a couple days. He's week to week with a hamstring injury, so he's probably out as well. And Max Harrison, the rookie corner who has played well, he's been out. He missed last week's game as well, but there you go. And then you just have a long list of other guys like Josh Allen who are banged up, who are sore, who are fighting it and really digging deep right now.
So if you look at the torn ACLs, who's going to step in? Who comes on the roster and who can be a difference maker?
So the Bills right now have only 3 healthy wide receivers on their roster, believe it or not. Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, and Brandon Cooks. And I think the first answer is Keon Coleman. Here's a young man in his second year who last year as a first-round pick had a couple of nice moments, but then was injured. Then this year started off with a couple of nice moments, but not only has he not been super productive, he's actually been benched a couple of times for being late to meetings or whatever. And, you know, he's a great young man. He's just got to be more professional and on top of things. And this is his chance to step up and do that. It's his chance to step up and say, hey, you know, I'm here and I know what I'm doing. I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to be there for my team. And then on top of that, Curtis Samuel's been on injured reserve for a while, but they did activate his, open his window to return. So he could be activated by Saturday. We might see that. And Mecole Hardman, he's been on and off the roster when they signed him maybe about a month and a half ago. He played against Tampa. He got hurt, but he's a dynamic return man and speedy wide receiver. They could elevate him from the practice squad. So they do have options there.
Okay. So we'll probably hear that later on this week. Now you just get into the matchup game, and you know it's hard. It wasn't a surprise that they were going to have a ton of success. Jacksonville is the best rush defense in the league. It's hard. Broncos have a good defense, Sal, but the Bills did have the best running attack. I'm expecting their running game to maybe get a little bit more back on track against this Bronco D.
Maybe. I mean, Jacksonville was number 1 against the run. Denver's number 2. I mean, they're really good, right? But you know, last year, Denver was also a very good run defense, and the Bills faced them in the playoffs and ran for like 150 or 160 yards or something like that on them. Like, they did a nice job. The Bills had a good plan. But again, Ty Johnson was a big part of that too, and especially out of the backfield. And, you know, when he's on the field, you have to account for him as a runner, as a passer, as a receiver or a pass blocker. And it looks like he might not play. But yes, I think that this might be a week where they could do a little bit more than they did last week against the run or with the run against Jacksonville. And the difference, though, is this Denver Broncos team can get to the quarterback better than any team in the league. They actually have the highest sacks per pass attempt than any team in the league. So if the Bills can't get the run game going, that's not a good recipe. Josh Allen, you can't have him living in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 all day. You just can't do that.
Let's flip to the other side for the Bills against this Broncos offense. They're, you know, they don't necessarily like scare the hell out of either, but they're just being consistent all year long, right? Defense is a strength of their team. But how do you think the Bills, how can they have success? What's the number one importance for their defense against this Broncos offense?
Probably to contain Bo Nix from making plays out of structure. He's a lot like Josh, where when he's actually out of the pocket, out of structure, he's a lot better sometimes than when he is just standing in the pocket. When I say Josh, I meant like Josh early in his career. Obviously, Josh is great at what he does now, but even when Josh is out of the pocket, he's so dangerous, but he can win from the pocket now. And I'm not saying Bo Nix can't win from the pocket, but I think he's much more challenged to win from the pocket. When he gets out, when he's running around, when he's using his legs, that's when things start to happen for that offense and they start to make some noise. He's been just wildly inconsistent. And I think the key from this game for me on that side of the ball is Sean McDermott, very smart defensive mind with Bobby Babich. Again, disguising coverages like they did last week against Jacksonville really helped them. Not having Bo Nix trust what he sees and forcing him into a mistake or two.
Bo Nix, I think, was only sacked 22 times this season. So it's going to be difficult to sack him, but doesn't mean it's impossible. What do you make of their chances? And sacks, I know, are only one stat. Pressures are maybe arguably more important, Sal. But to disrupt Nix, can the D line be better than the O line of the Broncos?
Well, they can. The O-line of the Broncos is really good. It's a really good run blocking unit, although they don't run the ball particularly well. Losing J.K. Dobbins really hurt them this year. But it's a very good pass blocking unit. I think they're tops in the league at not allowing sacks, as you just mentioned. They don't have many on the year. But the Bills don't get to the quarterback very well as it is. They do pressure sometimes. They don't sack the quarterback. I think this is a game where I'm not looking at the sack numbers. I'm looking at them keeping Bo Nix in the pocket, containing him with their pressure. If you start to rush at Bo Nix and you whiff, he's out the back gate. One thing that's really interesting about this game is we're all monitoring if Ed Oliver is going to play for the Bills. He's been on injured reserve with a torn biceps and then a meniscus cleanup for, I think he's only played 4 games this year. But he has been at practice this week. They opened his return window, so we'll see if he's activated. So if Ed Oliver can be a presence on the inside, that would really help this defense.
So when you watch him at practice, do you get a sense that this guy could play?
I do, but we can only watch a little bit of practice. What they do is in the NFL, the way it works, you get to watch stretching and some individual work with their position group, and then we can't watch game planning or how they're moving around. So, and what they're doing. So I couldn't tell you if he was like working with the defense in any capacity. What I can tell you is though, when I saw him today hitting a sled, when I saw him working with his position coaches, he's got a big brace on his elbow. He's got a sleeve, but no brace on his knee. And I think that's an encouraging sign.
Quickly, give me your thoughts on the other 3 matchups. Which one, obviously I know you're working the Bills one, but which of the other one intrigues you the most?
I guess simply because, we would watch to see who the Bills would play if they win. It'd be the other side of the AFC, right? And that's the Texans against the Patriots. And also because you have Drake May, who's had a fantastic season, obviously. But that Texans defense, we saw them beat up Josh Allen so much when they played him, and they're going to get after him. And, that's what I'm looking at. I guess 49ers Seahawks is a little more intriguing to me than Rams Bears, only because I still, there's a lot of, the Bears are exciting, but are they really this good? I mean, I think I'm pretty convinced that the Rams and Matthew Stafford are, but I don't know what to make of this Seahawks team sometimes, the way that they kind of go cold on offense, or they can be really hot. And this 49ers team is just playing really, really well, but some injuries for them have been pretty tough.
And one last one, 9 coaching vacancies. And not to mention there's a few OC vacancies. You've got Joe Brady as the OC, and you got Bobby Babich as the DC. Any concern in Buffalo they might lose those guys when the season's over to head coaching job?
I don't know if concern is the word. If you ask a lot of Bills fans, they might say, "Oh, that's okay if Joe Brady gets taken. He hasn't done a great job this year." I'm not saying I'm one of them. I just think this is the way it is, right? When there's issues or you don't like the play calling, oh well, he's not good enough, and maybe that's the case. The Bills have not done a great job throwing the ball this year, but I think he's not working with the great set of tools right now. So that being said, listen, Bobby Babich, to my knowledge, has not gotten any looks at all as a head coaching coordinator. Although I really think Bobby Babich someday will be a head coach. He's still young. I think he's developing into that. Joe Brady has been on people's radars for a while. If the Bills were to lose, I don't think there's any concern in this part, Jason, either, which is if the Bills were to lose Joe Brady, the line would be from here to from where I am to you in Edmonton for people to line up to work with Josh Allen and be the offensive coordinator. And there would be some fantastic football coaches that would want to do that.
Yeah. And one quick one for you, Sal, because I know their Buffalo fans are rabid. The Sabres haven't made the playoffs in 14 years, but hey, man, they're on a little bit of a fire here. The Bills fans are excited. Is there the cross promotion, the Sabres and the Bills, the excitement for both?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Listen, I mean, you guys know that the same owner, Terry Pagula and Kim Pagula, and the same COO, Pete Gwelly, now runs both sides, the business side. So there's a lot of business, going both ways right there. Tomorrow night, the Sabres have what's called their reunion night. They're honoring the 05-06 team. That's the team that obviously would have played against the Oilers in the Stanley Cup. But because they get to game 7 against Carolina, they lose all the defensemen, and Jay McKee has a staph infection and can't play. And oh man, that's just it's just gut punch, right? But they're going to honor that team tomorrow night. I have a question for you before I go. Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, sure.
Are Oilers fans sour on the McLeod for Savoy trade? Because we love it right now here in Buffalo.
You know, there's a small percentage that are right. I think people, they'll be patient with Savoy because they feel he's a young guy. But yeah, you look at it. Ryan McLeod has he wasn't going to get top 6 minutes in Edmonton when you got
right.
McDavid.
I get it.
Right. So he got more opportunity. But the thing about McLeod is, like, and you see it, his speed is a weapon. Right. And I think he got some playoff experience, got to the cup. So they're not sour on it yet, but I think they're being patient, saying, okay, it's a rookie season for Savoy. But I'm sure in the future, if he doesn't get going, yes, Oiler fans will bring it up rather loudly.
Yeah. I mean, I actually think that's one of those deals where you could see why both teams made the deal. The Sabres were loaded with prospects, and it's time to win. We don't need all these prospects anymore. They got to have guys that can help them on the roster. And McLeod has been fantastic as a penalty killer with Alex Tuck right now. But to answer your original point in question, we're very excited right now how the Sabres are playing. And I think with Jarmo Kekalainen, he's an aggressive GM. I think they might make some moves here to try and finally break this drought.
Wow, it'll be great. Well, enjoy it, Sal. Don't break any tables, and we'll talk again soon. Enjoy the playoffs.
Always good, buddy, to talk to you. Thank you.
You betcha. There's Sal Capaccio joining us from Buffalo. Matt, it is a great sport. Buffalo has a lot of similarities to Edmonton. To me, I've been to Buffalo. I really like Buffalo. It's a little bit of a blue collar town, right? It gets a lot of snow here. It gets a little bit more cold. They get a lot of snow there, but fans are very passionate about their teams. Obviously, you had the decade of darkness in Edmonton. Now you have the almost decade and a half of darkness in Buffalo. The Bills have had a lot of, they've lost 4 championships. The Edmonton Oilers have lost their 3 last trips to the championship. There's lots of similarity. Now, they never had Gretzky. Obviously, the Sabres have never had the success that Edmonton had with when they won cups, for sure. But you look at the Elks in their heyday. Fans here love football. I still think fans here love football. And I know every time I've gone to Buffalo, it reminds me a little bit of Edmonton. Collins, I don't know if you've ever been to Buffalo, but that's the sense I get when I go there.
No, personally, never been there. I want to go though. I think the Chargers are playing Buffalo next year.
Dude, you should go there, man.
The new stadium. Too bad. I would have loved to go to the Ralph, but yeah, I mean, it just seems like a great sports town, and one of these days I'll fly out to Hamilton and make that quick drive down.
Oh yeah, you have to. So it is a great drive, man. And honestly, you could go right to go through Niagara. You can check out Niagara Falls, and you're just on the other side. Boom, Buffalo's right there. So it's pretty good. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca. If you want to eat better and even eat easier, well, Loca is going to help you. Fresh, healthy meals, handcrafted by chefs, and now they deliver right to your door. You can order them meals.loca.ca. As low as $10 per serving. Put in your order meals.loca.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
A late night in the NHL, 4 games on the schedule, getting going at 5. Devils and Kraken. The Flyers at the Buffalo. Rangers up against the Sens. And then at 8 o'clock, Golden Knights taking on the LA Kings. In the association, the Toronto Raptors in Indiana taking on the Pacers. Now gets going at 5 o'clock. You also have the Sixers and the Cavs. Jazz in Chicago. The Mavericks host the Nuggets. Knicks taking on the Kings, and the Clippers up against the Wiz. In the WHL, Oil Kings will host Medicine Hat down at Rogers Place. Puck drop 7. In the AJ, 2 games tonight. Vineville's in Lloyd. Minster and Whitecourt hosting Devon. Both those games start at 7. And 1 game in the PWHL. Boston hosting Toronto at 5. The Canadian men's soccer team will host Uzbekistan on June 1st in Edmonton as part of their final preparation for the World Cup. The game will be at Commonwealth. And a warm-up for the 27th-ranked Canadian men. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Oilers Nation's Tyler Yaremchuk and Ask 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
New Year's resolutions. We all make them. We all say we're going to start eating healthier or going to the gym or starting that new hobby. But at GS Construction, we actually follow through on our New Year's resolution because it's the same every year. We promise to set the groundwork, literally, for another year of progress and growth. And we've stuck by that resolution since 1974. So start that all-you-can-eat diet. GS Construction is going to start planning right now for the year ahead. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Hi, I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. We've been tightening bolts and redefining our industry for 25 years. Yes, a quarter century, and we're just getting started. Check us out at cantork.com. Our tools age better than I do.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Oodle Noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known.
Always good, buddy, to talk to. Thank you.
Mr. Rooter goes skiing.
Sick gear, Mr. Rooter. Are you ready to hit the slopes?
Not yet. I need to report a possible crime.
Oh no, what's happening?
I saw a bunch of hooligans discussing shredding the half pipe. As a plumber, I've taken the Hippocratic oath to do no harm and act in the best interests of all pipes.
And welcome.
It's made of snow, Mr. Rooter.
Snow? Things are worse than I had feared.
There's no better plumber than Mr. Rooter.
Some other big news today.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your fix. Edmonton's home for
Alex, Sports 1440.
Sports 1440.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
When I met you in the summer, so my heart beat sound. We fell in love.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.308, welcome back. Gregor, Hallie, Kruger, Sports 1440. Wednesday afternoon. How you doing? It's the Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you want to get in on some fun. Try your hand. Casino, live dealer, lottery, instance, you name it. They got it all at PlayAlberta.ca. And every day we have the Jason Gregor Show odds boost daily specials. You can check it out. We got some Rangers and go Sabres. Who's not on the Sabre train right now? Also a little Jared McCann, Alex Tuck, because some guys potentially who are on the trade bait board earlier in the year, but with the success of their teams, maybe not. So, and a little Raptors for you as well. So check that out. We got your Remcheck coming up. We got Rich Winter. We're going to talk a little in the business of sport. We're going to talk marketing when it comes to minor hockey and minor hockey teams, I should say, like junior hockey teams, and the pros, the cons, the challenges, positive, the negative. So we'll see. Hey, Gregor, do you think Eberle's going to score 30 goals this year? What has he got? 16, Mike? He's 16. He's on pace for 30, correct? If my math is mathing, I think he's on pace for it. But on pace and then doing it are two very different things. It was his second NHL season. I think this is the only year he scored 30 goals. It would be amazing if he did it because that was in 2012. So it'd be 14 years later. I'd love it. He's had a really good season. You look at, he's had 20 goals. I think it's 8 or 9 times. It's one of the two. Colin, you want to check that out? How many times I really have 20 goals? I think it's 8, but he might be 9. And then he had lots of 19s and 18s. He's been pretty consistent, right? There was only the 1 year that, and I think that's when he got injured last year. He only played half a season, and I think he had 9. But every other year, I think his lowest goal total, even in the shortened seasons, was 16. So he's been a pretty consistent goal scorer. So I'd love to see him get back to 30. And I thought for sure he was going to be a trade bait target. But Seattle has scratched and clawed and played their way back into the playoff mix in the Western Conference. They're actually in a playoff spot right now, sitting third in the Pacific with 50 points. And now it's not like they're safe by any stretch of the imagination. LA is in the wild card spot and they got 48 points. San Jose's got 49. So no, the Preds have 48. So it'll be a battle, and Seattle does have games in hand on everybody. That's their advantage. But it's an advantage to have games in hand, but not if you have to play them all in a short period of time. And that's why I outlined, if you kind of want an in-depth outline, we can go through it today on the show. We're going to get to the oil report in a second about the Oilers. And this week, you know what? They got 3 games left. Islanders, and then on the weekend they play Vancouver, and then they play St. Louis. After that, the Oilers' schedule is very favorable. After the St. Louis game is the second half of a back-to-back. So, you know what? Not easy by any stretch. But it's not a hard travel from Vancouver to St. Louis, but still travel. And, you lose an hour coming this way, right? They leave Vancouver at 11 o'clock. It's already midnight here. So, it's not ideal, but whatever. So they'll play Sunday night. And it's a 6 o'clock start on Sunday, so a little bit earlier. They then finish the month with 6 games in 13 days. The Oilers are in a stretch of games where they'll play 6 and 9. So 6 and 9, 6 and 13, big difference. Also, when they played those 6 and 9, they were in Edmonton, they were in Nashville, they were in Chicago, they were in Edmonton, they were in Vancouver, they were in St. Louis. Basically 6 different cities each game. Their final 6 games of the month, 13 days, they're all in Edmonton. New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Washington, Anaheim, San Jose, and Minnesota. Minnesota's the only team ahead of them in the schedule. And the Devils, Penguins, Capitals, and Ducks are all going to be playing third game in 4 nights, second half of a back-to-back. I think they all play in Calgary the night before. The Ducks might play in Vancouver, but I was looking it up earlier today. So that's a very favorable end to the month of January. Then they start February, 2 days off. Right? They play on the 31st against Minnesota. It's a Saturday, and they have Sunday, Monday off. Then they play Toronto at home, and guess what? The Maple Leafs, third game in 4 nights, second half of a back-to-back. Then the Oilers go to Calgary the next day. So, it's not a hard back-to-back by any stretch. It's actually the easiest back-to-back Edmonton can have when it involves a home game, because Calgary's the closest one. Very short flight. They don't lose any time, so away you go. But then they have a break. Then they come out of the break like everybody else, and the Oilers play 3 games in 4 days. Not everybody plays 3 and 4, but the Oilers play 3 and 4. But their first game's against the Ducks. It's the Ducks' first game back, so everybody has equal rest, equal rust no scheduling advantage or disadvantage. The next day, they're into San Jose. Guess what? The Kings. They'll play the Kings the next night. And the Kings are also playing the second half of a back-to-back. And Edmonton's in Anaheim, so there's no real travel there, right? You take a bus. And usually they stay in the same hotel when they play in Anaheim and LA, just so they don't have to disrupt and move around. So you're just busing home after the game. Not a big deal. There's no travel. There's no time change, no flights, none of it. So it's even there. Then the San Jose game, there's a little bit of an advantage for the Sharks. But after a 3-week break, I don't know if fatigue is that much of a deal. Then you get into March, 31 days. The Owners only play 14 games. They have one set of back-to-back games the entire month. So that is, that's really good, man. That's a big advantage for them. So they get 2 days off after that San Jose game to end February. Play Ottawa, then they get 2 more days rest. Then they play Carolina, who's going to be playing their 4th game in 6 nights. So that's a scheduling advantage. Then the Oilers, this is I guess a tough part of their schedule. They're on the road in Vegas, Colorado, Dallas, and St. Louis. But, Vegas is playing their 4th game in 6 days, where it's only Edmonton's 2nd game in 6 days. So they'll actually start the road trip with a schedule advantage. Then they go into Colorado. Them and Colorado have the exact same schedule the week leading up to it, so there's no real rest. Edmonton goes from Vegas to Colorado. It's not a crazy travel. Then they go into Dallas. Dallas and the Oilers facing the same thing as the Stars, though it'll be their 4th consecutive home game, so they don't have to travel where Edmonton will be going to different cities. So a little bit of an advantage there. And then they're into St. Louis, and St. Louis will have a scheduling advantage as Edmonton plays 3rd game in 4 nights, which is only, by the way, 2 of 3 times. In their final 32 games, the Oilers only have 3 situations where they'll be playing 3rd game in 4 nights. They do have 4 sets of back-to-back, but one of those back-to-back, after it's done, they go on the Olympic break. So that's why they only have 3 and 4. So it's a real good schedule. Then they come home and they got 4 games every second day. They're hosting the Predators, the Panthers, the Lightning, and who's the other team? I'm forgetting it. Colorado. So, good teams, but no big ones. You get into April. The Oilers only play 7 games in the month of April. Start out at home. Then they go on the road, but they got 2 days off before they go to Utah. So they'll be well rested. Then they're into Utah and they play the Sharks the next night. The Sharks will be playing their 5th game in 8 nights. Now they're all at home, but it's still 5 games in 8 nights, where the Oilers will be their 2nd game in 5 days. So a little bit of, even though they're back to back, I would argue that a little bit of a scheduling advantage there for Edmonton. And then they finish off their final 2 games of the season. They've got Colorado at home on Monday the 13th. Avs, are they going to be playing for anything at that time? Who knows? And then they play Vancouver, and the only thing they're going to be playing for is probably planning their tea time, because the Canucks ain't making the playoffs. So the last few seasons, the Oilers had to rest guys in April because they had remember the Oilers, they finished the season 6 games in 9 days. It was brutal. The Oilers play 7 games in 16 days in April. And then the playoffs won't start on the 17th, so it's 6 and 17. They won't start on the 18th for the Oilers because they played on the Thursday. The earliest they would start is the 19th. So Edmonton will have the month of April, only 6 games in the first 18 days. That is an excellent schedule. And if they don't start until Monday the 20th, which is what they've done the last 2 years, 6 games in 19 days. So fatigue will not be a factor for Edmonton heading into the to the playoffs this year. That's good news for them. So get through this week, and then their schedule. Like I'm telling you, the Oilers have no reason to not have a very good final 32 games. They should win at least 20 of those games, because I outlined you the scheduling advantages, but also look at they got 19 of 32 on the road, or at home, 13 on the road. I mentioned they only have 4 sets of back-to-back, and only 3 times do they play a 3rd game in 4 nights. And when I talk to players, the 3rd game in 4 nights is arguably harder than the back-to-back. They only play 9 of 32 games against teams ahead of them in the schedule. Carolina, Minnesota, Colorado twice, Tampa Bay, Dallas, and they play Vegas 3 times. And the Oilers have had a lot of success against Vegas the last few years. But those 3 games could determine who's going to get the number 1 seed. So the other 23 games against teams below them in the standings. So I'm saying it right now today. Get to Sunday if the Oilers can win 2 of the next 3, that's real good. It's real good. Hey, we know they can. I'm not going to call for 3 in a row. They haven't won 3 in a row all year. So I'll just say they win 2 in a row. Maybe at some point they'll win 3 in a row. But until then, maybe they can win 2 or 3. If they do that, they really set themselves up nicely for their final 32 games. That was the Oil Report brought to you by Go Auto. If you need a vehicle, there's no better place to go than Go Auto. They got 15,000 vehicles to choose from. They got 76 locations, over 36 or 31 new vehicle brands. So any type of ride that you're thinking about, they're going to have it. Check it out, goauto.ca. Take a quick break. Your M Chuck will join us and more. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you need it immediately with no overtime rates, if you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hear ye, hear ye. Dragon fruit has returned to Booster Juice. Prepare thyself for the legendary alchemy of the Dragon Slayer smoothie, Pink Dragon Booster Mixer, and Dragon Booster Ball. Does the dragon taste like chicken? Nay, Booster Juice uses only delicious tropical dragon fruit. No dragons are harmed. Get thee to Booster Juice before dragon fruit vanishes once more.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way. I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Gregor special. Enjoy 20% off any regular priced order when you enter promo code Gregor at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3:20 on a record-breaking day. We reached 11 degrees today. The hell is going on? 11 degrees. That's like a record high for January 14th. It's Wild times, man. Wild times. It's the melt is on all over the place. So I'm you know what? Not happy about it. If it ruins all the ODRs, I don't like it. I don't like it at all, man. Like that's like some of the best Canadian, some of the best memories of my childhood. Even, young adult, we used to go out and play on the ODR, man. Like when you get to play at nighttime and the lights are on, it is unreal. Like anywhere from -7 to -15 is like perfect ODR weather. And then every now and then when you just get sometimes you're playing and all of a sudden you get some light snowflakes coming down as you're playing. Not too much because then obviously it clogs up the ice. But God, those were amazing days, man. Like we used to play on the ODR when I was a teenager for hours. Absolutely loved it. Some of the best memories. Like, and I remember a few things of teenage years, but man, I could tell you lots of the time spent on the ODR is awesome. So like I know some people like that it's warm and everything, and I kind of hate it because it's melting all the ODRs, and that just takes away ice time for kids and just having a lot of fun. So it's too bad. So let's see. Let's go in the room. Brought to you by Action Electrical. They're becoming the most diversified electrical contractor in the province. 4 divisions and project service, testing, and solar in their projects. They do design builds, switchgear, replacements, new construction, renovations. Learn more, actionelectrical.net. As Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff joins us. Ty, how you doing?
Good. I love the ODR talk. I went, I haven't gone with my buddies in like probably over a year, but we went last Saturday, skated around for an hour, just the 3 of us, like not really doing anything. I had my Apple Watch on. I burned like 1,000 calories out on the outdoor rink. I was like, it didn't even feel like I worked out, and I was sweating, burning calories. It was great.
Buddy, the ODR, you get a little pickup game of shinny.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember when you were a young kid, and every now and then, like, the big kids would let you touch the puck once in a blue moon, right? Unless you got it. And they'd let you go fine. And then as you got older, you got a little bit better, you'd have it. But then you'd give it to like some 6 or 7-year-old man. They get that one rush off the ice and they just thought they were a hero. It was like the greatest time. You kind of learn to be a player. You passed other kids. And, I remember a few times, a few tilts too on the ODR. Guys get a little upset. So someone slashes you too hard. And man, it was so fun. Like I miss the ODR, man. We were actually on it, my son and I, for like 2 hours about 10 days ago. We had a blast. So now I'm like, it's melting. It sucks. It's too early to lose the ODR.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Like, I don't love when it's obviously like -30, but in January, we can all sludge through a little -10, -15 if it means the rinks are in good shape.
Yeah, for sure. Edmonton Oilers last night, they weren't in good shape really from the opening puck drop. That was as sloppy as the roads are in Edmonton right now. Their puck management, it was I don't know how many turnovers that they had, blind passes, and it was, they got a point out of it, great, but I don't really think they deserve to win just the way they managed the puck all night.
No, and listen, everybody was kind of making a big deal out of, what was Jari doing in overtime? Were the big guns out there too long? They were exhausted, like everything that happened in overtime. And I'm kind of like, listen, I don't care about how the game ended in overtime because there are so many moments during that game in the first 60 minutes that bothered me way more. I mean, look at the fact that 2 of the 5-on-5 goals against came when the third and then fourth line were on the ice. You had the giveaway by Mangiapane on the Stamkos goal. You had the Ike Howard giveaway that directly led to a goal against. Like, it's another night where the power play did their job. They weren't good enough at 5-on-5. And then you look and the bottom 6 hurt them. Like, if the bottom 6 breaks even last night, the Edmonton Oilers get a win in regulation, but it's the 5-on-5 struggles. It's the struggles lower down in the lineup. Those were all way bigger issues than whatever you want to call what happened in overtime.
Yeah. Well, I said it before the game, so it's not 2020. It's not hindsight. Mangiapane's done nothing for me. I would have put Howard back in for Mangiapane and would have kept Lazar in the fourth line because I thought they were really good. And actually, the fourth line was fine. Howard actually made the right play initially. He made a really good defensive read to come down low. He gets the puck, but then he just gives it away, and you're just like, oh. And, it ends up 2 seconds later in the back of the net. And, he'll learn from it. It's a rookie mistake. Like, the initial read was good, but then obviously the giveaway was bad. And he's probably better off playing with a guy like Roslovic who can skate and move the puck. He's not really a grinder like Frederick and Janmark, but those guys are actually coming on. I've actually liked Frederick's game here a lot more. He's not going to bring you a ton, but he's bringing you way more than he did earlier on. And I really like Lazar's game. So unless he was suddenly hurt, I didn't like that decision. As for the ice time and overtime, Josi was on for longer than the Oilers stars, and O'Reilly was on for the exact same time. As they went up the ice, he changed. Stamkos gone on for like 2 seconds, right? And really was involved in the play when Josi scored. So, long shifts are going to happen. They started the overtime. Then they went to Hyman and Nugent-Hopkins. Then they went to Kapanen and Roslovic. Like, of course, you're going to go back to McDavid and Draisaitl. And I'm not really sure I saw a time where they could change, right? Like, I went back and watched it. I didn't see an obvious line change. That's really, you're in the offensive zone. What are you going to try to change on the back check now? Like, it's what happens in 3-on-3.
Yeah, there was a minute 45. I know that's when some people were saying a minute 45 left in the overtime where like McDavid could have changed, but I'm also sitting there. I'm like, there's a minute 40 whatever left in overtime. Like, Connor McDavid's not going to go off the ice if Leon Draisaitl has the puck in the offensive zone. Like, he's going to try score. Like, that's how their brains are wired. That's the competitive side of them. So again, I'm not too pressed or worried about what happened in overtime. It's everything else. And I agree with you. I think Curtis Lazar deserved to stay in that lineup. Trent Frederick, I thought he was awesome against the Chicago Blackhawks. And then against Nashville, again, you move him to center, you move him off the wing. He doesn't look quite as good. And it's like, why did you mess with a good thing? You've been starving all year to have a bottom six that can give you meaningful and positive shifts, and you got it against Chicago, then you messed with it. And I know it's the dad's trip. You don't want anybody sitting twice in a row. So I agree with you. Howard for Mangiapane should have been the swap. And even when you look at those defensive errors that the two of them made or the turnovers that they made, like, I'll excuse Ike Howard's because, again, he's young. Like you said, it's a bit more of a bad break because he put himself in a good spot. Mangiapane turning over that puck and then kind of like, half skating back. Okay. And then just looking at Steven Stamkos and turning away from him. It was a wild sequence of events. And the other thing that I'll criticize Knobloch for a little bit is Ike Howard made his mistake and sat on the bench. I think he only played 7 shifts in that entire game against the Preds. I think Mangiapane still played 14 shifts north of 10 minutes. Like, again, maybe they're really trying to get Mangiapane going one more time here and give him like an honest look. I don't see it.
Yeah. I haven't seen, I watch Mangiapane, like, other than getting that scrum, I see him fall down too much and lose puck battles. That's what I see. Like, sorry. Like, and I'm trying to watch and say, okay, because sometimes you can, like, Trent Frederick hasn't scored the last few games, but I'm seeing lots of good shifts from them. And, like his foot speed looks a lot better. His like that dump in, you had to get the goalie out of the net. Otherwise, he's beating him to the puck. Like, you're starting to see things from Frederick. I haven't seen a lot of green lights to say, okay, Mangiapane's coming. The points aren't there, but all the foundation of his game is coming. I don't really see it at all. The Oilers, though, they got 3 games left here this week. This is the toughest final week of the season, really, when you look at schedule and everything else. They got the Islanders tomorrow, who gave up 5 goals with Sorokin in net for the first time all season last night in Winnipeg. So it'll probably be Oilers hope that carries over, but it probably means they'll lock it down. Then you got Vancouver, who's a tire fire, and St. Louis. Oilers have to win 2 out of 3. I can't say they'll win 3 because they haven't won 3 in a row all year. So I'm not going to say they're going to do it now. But after that tie, the Oilers schedule is one of the best schedules in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, I was looking right now, Tankathon, and they just calculate it simply off like the combined winning percentage of your opponents. But Tankathon has them as the 21st easiest schedule, 21st best schedule, whatever you want to say. It's an easy schedule. It's in the bottom third of the league when it comes to the easiest schedule for the remainder of the year. And your point about the 3 in a row is well taken. I know that's been talked about a lot throughout the fan base. Liam went through and looked at some of those games. The Oilers, when they've had an opportunity to win their 3rd game in a row, however many times he said it happens, they've only held the lead in 1 of the games, which is crazy that they haven't been able to like recognize coming into a game like, all right, let's get off to a good start, try to win 3 in a row. In almost all of them, it's like instantly down 1-0 in the game. And the Oilers haven't been great when they give up the first goal. I know that's a stat that gets thrown around a lot too, but I don't know. It's a lot of hockey here in the next couple of weeks, but over the last few years, they've been one of the best home teams in the NHL. You have a home heavy schedule up until February 4th when the Olympic break starts. Like, now's kind of the time to take advantage of the fact that, Vegas has still been a little mediocre for the last little bit. They're banged up between the pipes. Like, the Oilers the goal should be to be in the top spot in the division by the time the Olympic break starts. And I don't think that's unrealistic at all, considering A, they're tied with Vegas right now. I know games in hand are wonky, but B, you have so many games on home ice. Like, you need to go on a run at some point and rattle off 4 or 5 straight.
Yeah. At some point, they got to win some games consecutively here, more than 2. That'll be a key. I know some people try to tell me it doesn't matter. Well, they're clueless, because I can tell you no Stanley Cup team has ever won in the salary cap era without having multiple 3-game winning streaks, because to win 3 in a row, it shows you have some consistency to commitment. And right now, that's been the Oilers' problem. They'll play really well for a few games, and then it drops off. And then they'll play really well for a few games, and then it drops off. So eventually, and hey, they've done it in the past. So, I still think the Oilers are a good team. But the third line center spot, Jack Roslovic, fine there. I don't think he's the answer for the 3C, in my opinion. Now, maybe it's because McDavid's on the heater of heaters, so they don't want to change it. And I can understand that. They're going to keep his line until he maybe goes a game without a point, but that could be another 20 games. But at some point, they got to try Nugent Hopkins as a 3C for an extended period of time, do they not?
I mean, what if McDavid's point streak just keeps going until the trade deadline? Like, I think the number one need for the Oilers is to go acquire a third line center. I think you want to build 2 lines in your bottom 6 that each have unique identities. You go back to what they had even in that game against Chicago, where it's like, all right, a 4th line with Frederick, Janmark, and Lazar that was just going to work hard, make simple plays. They're maybe not going to score. They're not going to get scored on. Then if you want to build a third line that can maybe outscore the other team, you can give them ozone starts, push the offense a little bit. I think come playoff time, you don't want it to be Roslovic with Howard and Savoy. You've talked before about like teams that win the Stanley Cup don't have 2 guys like Howard and Savoy playing in their top 9. But if you can go get a good third line center and pick whoever you want of the bunch that are reportedly available or could reportedly be available, whether it's Boone Jenner, Charlie Coyle, maybe they swing harder and go for a Ryan O'Reilly or a Braden Shen or something like that. Although that seems unlikely. But my point is, you get a third line center, you have Roslovic and Savoy on the wings, then you don't even need to talk about moving Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and disrupting a top line that we've seen over the last couple of playoffs can deliver for you when it matters most, can deliver for you in big games. Go get a third line center. Ike Howard, he can come back next fall. I don't think you want to have both him and Savoy in the lineup come playoff time, but it's just so easy to pull up daily face-off and see how the lines would all jumble out nicely if you had a better third line center to play with Roslovic and Savoy.
Fair. I would take Nuge as my third line center and go out and get a scoring top line left winger, because Nugent Hopkins has never scored 5-on-5. Never has. I'm not going to expect him to in year 14.
Yeah, and again, that is fair. Positional versatility as well. Like maybe if you go out there, and I keep bringing up Boone Jenner just because he's top of mind, and I was talking about him today on DFO Live, but that is a guy who can play center or the wing. So maybe you do like going that way, and it's like, hey, we move Nuge down to 3C. Maybe you like Boone Jenner with Connor McDavid. Maybe you like Boone Jenner with Leon Draisaitl, and you sort of reshuffle things from there. But we've seen them in the past go after guys who have that versatility. That is something they clearly value. Maybe that's the answer too, is just getting someone who can kind of fit into different spots.
Yeah, well, hey, versatility is good, and Nugent Hopkins has that. But the thing is, Boone Jenner, he has it, but he's not a scorer either, right? And at 5-on-5, and neither is Nuge. And I think they need another guy that you can come playoff time and say, hey, you know what? We got Zach Hyman. We know he can score. We need another winger, because we don't know if Podkolzin can score in the playoffs really that much. Jack Roslovic's never really scored in the playoffs. Now it's a new team, so maybe he does. But that's an element to me I still think they could use. I think their blue line will be fine. Overall, what do you think of what did you think of Wallman's return to the lineup?
I thought he was fine. I mean, nothing special. There were a couple of moments where I kind of did a double take on the screen and was like, what is he doing right now? And then you remember he hasn't played a lot of hockey over the last month and a bit here, so totally excusable. But yeah, he looked good. I was intrigued that they didn't start him on a pairing with Darnell Nurse and kind of give him his spot back. And I'm curious if that's maybe in the name of easing Wallman into things a little bit, and if we eventually see them back together, or if we eventually see Knobloch try just a totally different approach on the blue line. Like I've kind of been saying, I wouldn't mind seeing Nurse back with Bouchard for another run for a little bit, but again, Nurse, Ekholm have been fine as of late, so not going to complain about that. I'm intrigued to see long-term wise here. What do they see with Wallman and Nurse? Do they want to put them back together like they did at the start of the year? Do they want to create, maybe we can call it a bit more balance in the second and third pairings?
Yeah. Ty, quickly, give me your thoughts. We had Sal Capaccio on. More injuries for the Bills, 2 torn ACLs. Are they going to activate Herdman? What do you think is going to happen? They need some more receivers, or can Keon Coleman step up as the number 3?
Well, I think it's both. I think Keon Coleman is going to have to step up as the number 3, and they're going to have to activate Mecole Hardman. Like, I think they only have 3 healthy wide receivers right now on the roster. And listen, they don't win games because of what their receivers do. They win games on the back of their tight ends and usually their running game, last week notwithstanding. So they'll activate Hardman. I fully expect that to happen. You still need guys to kind of run the routes on the outside, but they'll win or lose this game based on how Josh does finding his receivers, how Josh runs, and how James Cook runs. So I'm excited for this weekend. I'll be honest, going into the playoffs, Jacksonville was kind of the team that scared me the most, just with how good that run defense is. Bo Nix struggles when you kind of throw disguised coverage his way. And the one thing that really impressed me in that win over Jacksonville was how well McDermott and the defense just disguised all these different coverages. And Trevor Lawrence, like, he threw 2 picks in the back half of the year. Trevor Lawrence barely threw any interceptions. And I think that says a lot to the schemes that the Bills were throwing out there. So I think Bo Nix, coming off a bye, he's going to have his hands full if he's going to, keep the football in possession of Denver and not suffer the same fate as Lawrence and throw those INTs. So I'm excited. I'm surprised the Bills are underdogs. Like, I think they're going to win. And granted, I'm biased, but I think they're going to win.
Well, it would be, it would be fun. Their running attack, it's too bad for them. They probably had the 2 worst matchups. Jacksonville and Denver, the number 1, number 2 run defenses in the NFL. The Bills have the number 1 running attack. So, you know what? When your best part of your game kind of gets taken out, that's hard. So, and Jacksonville did it. Now they still managed to win. But Denver, we'll see. I'm still not sold on Bo Nix. Maybe I'm wrong. Still not sold on him yet. So I think the Bills defense they're going to have to play great, I think, for them to win this week. The Bills offense, Josh Allen will do Josh Allen things. I think he'll be pretty good. But I think it's really going to come down to, can they get some pressure on Bo Nix?
Yeah, and I agree with you. I said it yesterday. I was talking to some buddies at the curling club, talking some shop at the curling club, as you do. And I kind of said, like, Josh Allen, no matter who you put him up against, he's going to score you 21 points in a playoff game. Like, he will find a way to get there. It's a matter of, can the Bills defense get a couple of timely takeaways like they've done all year, but get a couple of timely takeaways and keep Bo Nix below 20. And that's your path to victory. You're not going to win this game 35-31 or something insane like that. You'll win this game 21-14, 21-17, something like that. So it really does come down to, can the defense continue to get timely turnovers?
Ty, have a good one. Enjoy the game. Are you painting your face?
No, I'm not painting my face. I sit nervously in my basement with no one but my wife in the room. It's just dead silent the whole game.
Oh, yeah. No talking, other than commercial breaks?
No, maybe the odd, F yeah, booyah, whatever, but that's about it.
Awesome. All right, man. Enjoy it.
See you, Gregs.
There you go. It's Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. We could probably do a whole show on how people watch sports. Or like, some people like to watch it. They like to have more people around. It kind of relaxes them, and you chat a little bit and you watch the game, but maybe have a conversation. Others are like, if there's talking, get the hell out of the room. And it all varies. It depends. Right? Some people I want to have serious people watch the game with me, but we don't talk until commercials. Right? Others are like, I don't want anyone around. There's varying ways that you consume, specifically your playoff watching. Obviously, there's more on the line. There's usually more watch parties. Suddenly, you're like, I know one of my buddies is like, all of a sudden, my neighbors I don't want to watch a game with my neighbors. I haven't watched a game all year with my neighbors. And they're going, oh, God, we are dying. So we just kept sending them texts during. Hey, how's your new buddy going? You guys gonna hang out tonight? Have beers? Oh, his wife just kept inviting him over. So funny. We'll take a quick break. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The BCHL All-Star Game is coming to the Thompson Family Arena in Spruce Grove. The league's best players will go head-to-head in 2 exciting games, January 16th and 17th. The BCHL College Prospects Game takes place on Friday, January 16th at 7 p.m., while the premier matchup will see Canada take on the world on Saturday, January 17th at 7:30 p.m. For ticket inquiries and excellent group ticket packages, go to tickets.sgsaints.ca.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
When the ground freezes, you wonder how anything can get done. And instead of staying outside in temperatures that would make a polar bear cry, you head inside where it's toasty and warm. But that's not what GS Construction does, because while the ground freezes above, we plan below, rebuilding and revitalizing the systems that keep our communities working year after year. Now, don't worry. GS Construction promises to do everything safely and efficiently, and we'll wear our extra warm clothing outside. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vimy and Donnan have to offer. Visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder with over $3 million raised for local charities. And his Gregor Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.348. Welcome back. Gregor, Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely Wednesday. It's a warm Wednesday today. That's for sure. Ooh, mama. Record highs, 11 degrees today. Yowzer. Let's get to 5 questions, early edition, brought to you by The Brick, as they're holding their store-wide inventory clearance event. Last year's models, overstocks, any of those, like you have a little scratch or a dent, You can get up to 70% off those. Mattresses starting at just $99. Sofas start at just $3.99. Dining chairs at just $28. Now's the time to do a little shopping at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. As you know, the Edmonton Oilers currently 3 goaltenders on the roster: Connor Ingram, Tristan Jarry, and Calvin Pickard. How long should they, and you think they will, keep 3 goalies with a big club?
Well, they could keep them as long as they want. I don't think it really is going to impact that much. It comes down to, how much is the second and third guy is going to play. Not a whole bunch. Ingram's got, after today, he's got 3 days remaining and before he becomes where he needs waivers. So that'll be a factor, but he's played better. So I get that you're trying to protect your team from losing the goalie, but if you keep a goalie and he costs you games, is it worth it? Right? Like that. And so that's going to have to be their decision-making process, right? You could play Ingram. You could play him tonight or you could play him Saturday. And because Saturday would be 4 days. And then as long as he was sent down, before I think it's 3:00 when the new cycle starts for a day officially for the roster. So if you send him out before then, it would be fine on Sunday morning. So they could do that, and play Jarry tomorrow, and then I guess Jarry again on Sunday if they choose. So we'll see. I think long term it's going to be Ingram and Jarry. Just a matter of when they get there.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think we've seen it in other situations around the NHL, different markets, and kind of feels like we've seen it more than usual. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I would say the sooner you take care of it, probably the better. Getting guys playing, whether it is here or in Bakersfield, and it's maybe a tough decision for these guys to make, but I think the sooner the better, personally. Question number 2 for you: where do you think would be a good fit for Dougie Hamilton?
I don't think Hamilton's as bad as some people are trying to say. He didn't have a great start to the season, but he's still a pretty good defenseman. And so what if, remember Seth Jones? Everyone thought Seth Jones sucked. He's playing brutal. He's brutal. Oh, yeah? Did he suck in Florida? Right? Not only is he making $7 million, he's playing 24 minutes and a Stanley Cup winner. It's pretty good. So now I'm not sold that Hamilton's as good as Jones overall, but I think he's still a good player. And if New Jersey retains let's just say equal number, $2 million, I look at the Toronto Maple Leafs desperately could use Dougie Hamilton. He likes, in Toronto, it's hard to hide off ice if you're Austin Matthews and other players, but some of their guys can walk around Toronto and don't get it. It's such a big city. Not everybody's Austin Matthews, right? Him and Marner, Nylander, or Dougie Hamilton, he'd get noticed, sure. But I don't know if it'd be at the level of Austin Matthews. So I will say Toronto. I think Toronto needs an offensive defenseman. They need some guys who can lug some minutes.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was one of the teams I was thinking as well. But I'll go LA Kings. If you don't want to be noticed, LA is a good spot for that. Obviously, they're in a fight for a playoff spot in the Pacific and in the Western Conference, and he could be a boost. So I'll say the LA Kings. Question number 3 for you. Per reports, the Raptors interested in Anthony Davis, despite the injury. Should they be?
Well, what does he need? He's got a hand injury now,
yeah.
Right? So he's out several months. Now, hand injuries when you're in basketball, touch is a real big thing here. So what's the hand? Which hand is it? I don't even know. Is it his right or his left? They said?
Right hand.
Right hand. Okay, well, that's pretty important hand then. So, what is it going to impact him? Not that he's a big-time shoot from distance guy anyway. So, I don't know. I think if you're the Raptors and you're acquiring Anthony Davis, you're doing it not so much for this year, but for future years for your team. And he's a good player. Big men don't age very well. So that's my concern, Cons.
Yeah. And the price it would cost you is probably going to be a player draft pick. I don't think
would it be that much though? Do you think?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Like what? Like which guy off the roster are they going to have to give up?
Well, that's a good question.
Like, they're not giving up Scotty Barnes.
No, you can't do that.
Right?
You just paid Ingram, so not going to be Ingram.
Yeah, so who are you giving up? Like, you give up Quigley, you can't survive without him?
That's who Declan's writing down right now.
Right? So, like, I get Anthony Davis for Quigley. Like,
oh, and RJ Barrett, Declan says.
Both of them.
Both.
Oof.
He's a heck of a talent, no doubt about it. But then the injury concerns, not past this year, hurt.
Yeah, the injury is my only concern. As a player, when he's healthy, I would take him over Quigley and right? I would do that.
Oh, when he's on his
those
game,
two,
yeah.
for sure.
But
over Quigley and Barrett, I would take him. Yes.
Okay, question number 4. Of the remaining NFL teams of the 8, who are your top 3 and, in your opinion, most likely to win it all?
Well, I could just take the easy pick, which is can I just say NFC West, all 3 of them? You know what? They're all still in, and we know for sure one of them is going to be in, guaranteed, because they're going head to head. So, yeah, like there's something about Houston though. Houston might be my number 3. They just, I don't know. There's something about them right now. So I'll say Houston, and then I'll take the Seahawks and the Rams. If the 49ers were healthy, I would have them in. But man, that George Kittle injury, that's brutal.
Oh yeah, that's a huge one. Tongs has been good when he gets his opportunities, so maybe there, and they seem to have that great next man up mentality. I have Texans in the top 3 for sure. I just wish CJ Stroud was playing better ball because that defense is unbelievable. They can rush, they can cover, they get the job done. I'm going to go towards the Buffalo Bills, and that I just think that Josh Allen, I think he's the best player left in the playoffs. I know this year it hasn't been. There's been some ups and downs, but I think he can still get the job done. So I'll have the Bills in there. And finally, I'll go with let's take the Rams just because of the pedigree. But like you say, if the Niners are healthy, hard to go against them as well. Shanahan's done an amazing job. Final question for you today. Jason Bateman turning 57 years old today. He's been in tons of movies, tons of shows. If you had to pick a couple of your favorites, which stand out?
Go ahead.
I mean, for me, love the comedy genre. So Horrible Bosses is one that always comes to mind. And another one that, I don't know. I don't know if people love the movie, but Air, just kind of the story of Michael Jordan signing with Nike. I thought that was just a great movie. Yeah. So I'll put that in there as well.
Well, if I'm going shows, Ozark for sure. Ozark and Arrested Development, man. Like you want to talk about two different characters. And to me, that's it for those are the top 2 for Bateman for sure for me. Ozark and just like Arrested Development is so funny. Like there's lots of funny characters on there. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I'll take those 2 for Bateman. Some movies I liked, but man, Ozark was so good. Ruth was awesome in that show too. Like
he's so versatile though.
Yeah,
like he can do it all.
Yeah, no, the other one I just and then he totally played a different character. Oh man, I just watched it. It's about the bar and him and his brother. God.
Oh,
what's it called?
Black Rabbit.
Black Rabbit. Yeah, he was excellent in that too. So it's only one season though. The other ones were longer, but Arrested Development was, very dry humor. Ozark, he was a good guy, but not always a good guy. And then Black Rabbit, he was just a bad guy. And well, not bad might be just
troubled.
Troubled, yes, very good word. Troubled, untrusty, not trustworthy at all. So played him quite well. So yeah, it's pretty good. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, Marty Bird's the ultimate villain. Was he a villain though? Would you call him that's an interesting question, Jerry. Would I call Marty Bird a villain in Ozark? Well, he was like, he had to work for villains. So I kind of work, maybe not with, but he kind of portrayed, he did what it took to survive. Right? He wasn't like the main guy. Like he just didn't do it on his own. He kind of got forced into it. Right? Hey, Greg's, I can't believe he didn't go with Teen Wolf 2. Oh yeah, Teen Wolf 2. Yeah. You know what? That movie was on the other day. I watched like 10 minutes of it and I was like, God, that movie didn't age well at all, man. It was pretty stupid. If we're calling a spade, it was not good.
I didn't even know that was a movie that existed until Entourage, and they're like, oh, Teen Wolf is here, and it's Michael J. Fox in the original, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Michael J. Fox? No, Bateman. Yeah, like that's when I haven't even put in the time to go watch. But everything else he's done since, I think, has been pretty good.
Yeah. And guys, he's a villain because his moral code was broken. At the end of the show, the kids start to turn as well, and the parents are proud. You know what? They started to learn a little bit. Yeah, you're right. He ended up, I guess he had a choice. He could have chosen not to do it, but his choice was either live or die. So he chose to live on the seedy side of the tracks. Which, if we're honest, if you had a choice between life or death, now some people are like, oh, I'd never do it. It's easy to say that when you're not actually threatened with your life, right? So who knows how we'd react. But villain, yeah, it's a really good conversation because, like, when I think of a villain, I just think like he's a bad guy all the time. And, you know, maybe near the end, like he did a lot of bad things, but yeah, I did some good things too. Hey guys, have you ever seen Bad Words? Hilarious, Rob. I forgot that movie, Rob. It is pretty good. Hey guys, did you know that Bateman was on Silver Spoons, a hateable kid named Derek? I did not know that. With Ricky Schroeder. Classic. 4:00 when we come back, Rich Winter will join us. We're going to go a little techie today on the show in the business of sports, and also talk about the marketing for junior hockey, the challenges, the pros and cons, and the big events that occur. All of that coming up. But first, let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. When we say we're on the road together, they mean it. From tires, wheels, oil changes to vehicle repairs. They do it all. One-stop shop. Visit fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Fight night in the NHL. 4 games on the schedule. At 5, you got the Devils and the Kraken, followed by the Flyers, Sabres, Rangers host the Sens, and the Golden Knights in Los Angeles. In the association, Toronto travels to Indianapolis to take on the Pacers. Tip off 5 o'clock. Elsewhere, Sixers and Cavs, Jazz in Chicago, Pelicans up against the Nets, the Nuggets travel to Dallas, Kings host the Knicks, and the Wizards take on the Clippers. WHL tonight, Oil Kings will host Medicine Hat down at Rogers Place. Puck drop at 7 in the AJ. 2 games, Bonneville, Lloydminster, and Whitecourt and Devon. Those games starting at 7, and the PWHL, Boston hosts Toronto. Puck drop at 5. And it was announced today the Canadian men's soccer team will host Uzbekistan June 1st in Edmonton as part of their final preparation for FIFA World Cup. Coming up in Hour 3, it's another edition of The Business of Sport. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
I skipped breakfast this morning. Stay out of my way.
Don't threaten me with your bad choices.
No worries. A booster bar from Booster Juice will fix me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because they're new. Snack-sized bars packed with seeds, pecans, gluten-free oats, all sorts of good stuff.
Gregor, that sounds lovely, actually.
2 different flavors to try, too. Coconut pecan booster bars and harvest booster bars. Want to skip breakfast with me?
I take it back.
Man, a record break.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more.
Gregor
Find the
Halley,
XCMG
Sports 14.
construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action. Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo, 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert, and always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Welcome back. It is the Wednesday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, as always, brought to you by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where you can always have a little fun, stay within your limits, of course. If you gamble, use your game sense. Go to GameSenseAB.ca and learn benefits to being smart when you do it. A little bit, $5 here, $10 here, fine. Don't go crazy. When you might want to, that's why you get the odds boost on the Jason Gregor Show. You can check it out, some of those. As we welcome in Rich Winter once again, another edition of the Business of Sport, kind of unique because we're going to talk the tech, which I think kind of coincides with junior hockey because it involves drafting and really the biases that affect drafting and stuff like that. And then also we're going to talk about junior hockey, of course, the BCHL. They got the big showcase event in town this weekend. Rich, I think you got one of your clients playing in that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
No? How you doing?
I'm good. It's been a busy day, but I'm good.
Yeah. Are those new glasses?
No, I've had these before, but I only wear them once, and I'm hurt you didn't remember.
Well, no, just because they have like the orange chins. It reminds me, I saw it last night, and maybe he had worn them before, but Tristan Jarry's pads had the real bright orange just in small places in the back.
He copied those off my glasses.
I remember
exactly, that now. Yeah.
Exactly. See, yeah. So you just have small little pieces of orange that really stand out. So
there you go.
So there you go. I saw it. I'm not sure if people notice that on the YouTube feed or
certainly
not.
the guys driving home aren't.
Well, hopefully not. Although some people I do see in their cars, they got
the phone up.
They got the phone up and they're driving and watching like that. I wouldn't recommend that. Listening is a little safer.
FaceTime and as you go.
Yeah, it's a little safer for sure. Do want to talk? We're going to start with the tech side. And there's these new tools like homography, which is developed from a system that basically monitors large herds of cattle.
Yeah.
Right. AK Henry IV and the assembly line kind of thing with agentic AI. How do you think this is going to work?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, but really the problem in the NHL is they're only drafting core players, which is top 6 forwards, third line center, top 4D and number 1 goalie at a rate of about 12%. And the reason is because 1, they don't see them enough. 2, there's lots of biases. So what's coming, homography is interesting because what happened was the PETA group, the whatever that stands for, the animal activists.
Protection, yeah. Well, I don't even know what it says.
So they were upset about the cows. This private equity firm was managing at number of ranches they own. So they got some drones in and they started measuring and monitoring the cattle, and they could figure out as they were losing weight that maybe you got to get the vet there. It ended up being a good thing for the private equity firm because the disease didn't spread amongst the herd, so it ended up being a good thing. But then these guys bought a piece of an NBA team and said, can we use that to kind of look at drafts? So what they've done is they've got a new system, and there is a thing called Hawkeye, which is a 3-dimensional thing with about 20 cameras. The NHL is even using it for looking at the goals.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a $2, $3, $4, $5 million investment. So what these guys have done is they've created a program and algorithms that will take a 2-dimensional broadcast feed and turn it into a 3-dimensional digital representation. So what these guys did, they drafted somebody that was a really late first or third or second round pick, and they drafted him in the first round because when they overlaid him with, they liked his style similar to James Harden. So when they overlaid Harden, they found out, my goodness, this guy's like a clone in the way he shoots. But more importantly, there's 2 different kinds of speed in hockey and in basketball. There's speed with the ball or the puck and speed without. Connor's the only guy in the game, I think, is just as fast with the puck. Very few other. So they were able to measure that he was slightly faster than Harden with the ball. So but more importantly, there's this new form of agentic AI. It can watch you can actually have 10 or 12 of them or whatever you want. You can have every single game that a prospect plays that's eligible for the NHL draft. That bot can watch every single game for just speed. Another bot can watch it for puck movement. Another bot can watch it for, remember we did stick calibration.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this guy's stick's way too long. If we can shorten that sucker up and get him to use the right tools, he's actually good. And he's still, with the bad stick, he's performing as well as Jason. So these tools are going to be able to give so much information to scouts. Like they could look at speed with the puck, speed without the puck. They can even analyze intelligence, the plays that they're using, their positioning, and analyze. They can overlay the team that's drafting them style of play to see if this guy would be a natural fit for them. So really, a lot of people my age don't seem to understand AI, but really think about it's like you have a telescope and you're looking at the Milky Way. The only difference between you and AA, it sees the whole universe and can provide you with any information you need almost instantly. So you're basically going to be able to provide, you still need the human scouts at the back end.
Well, 100%.
Right? But they're going to have so much more information. Like here's where it gets really interesting for me. There's a thing called the relative age effect. Start in minor hockey. You got the kids born in January and the kids born in December. Well, they're a year apart. That's a big deal, right? So 2 things happen.
Yeah, but that's changed though a lot. Like if you look at Ovechkin, Malkin, Taylor Hall, like there's lots of players born later in the year.
There's
now.
more, but not as much as it's still the majority is drafted early. So what happens is, but they get a priority. They're bigger, they're stronger, they get on the rep team, right? They get the easy route. And I'm convinced this easy route is what killed Hockey Canada or the Canadian team at the World Juniors. These guys have never had any adversity. They run into a little adversity. They're patting the other guys on the back, doing goofy things. They fell completely apart. So what happens is these kids born early, but it's really critical to understand the same thing plays out in the draft. So you got a kid that's drafted September or born late September, and you got a guy like Schaefer that was born early the following September, right? Well, the beauty of using artificial intelligence, they can actually map how a player's speed, play is changing over time. So you can recognize this kid born, this kid, I saw him in September, then I saw him at the World Juniors. We liked him, but they didn't realize because he's a year younger, he's developing late and he's ramping up at the end of the season and they're never seeing him. So they're going to be able, using artificial intelligence, going to be able to get you enough information. You're going to be able to measure that. Now, what's really interesting was you go back to the relative age effect as it plays out with the kids in the calendar year. Strangely enough, long-term, a higher percentage of players born later perform better. And the reason for that is, they believe, is because these kids have adversity early. They're mad. They got to figure it out. They can't believe why they're not on the team. They get to work and it becomes the tortoise and the hare, right? How many World Junior kids have we seen never play in the NHL?
Yeah.
Tons.
Well, and the other thing is that bias is legit, right? And so there was a study on bias identification and management, and talked about that they think there's 100 biases that have the potential to affect the recommendations that NHL scouts make. Right now, some of those are like you just talked about, the relative age effect. There's the experience trap, selective attention, biased interpretation, floor neglect, motivated reasoning, endowment effect, sunk cost fallacy, size, recency, salience, pattern matching, authority, reputation, conformity, ego, identity, team context, speed. Like go down the list. Like we're talking lots because there's certain some scout talks to a coach. Coach doesn't like a player, right? And it's ask anybody, you don't like Trent Frederick. You've made up your mind now that you don't like Trent Frederick. It doesn't, I just got a text or Gregor, you're an idiot because you think Trent Frederick's played better. Well, I can't help you, Craig and Red Deer, that you're too stubborn. My analysis is not based on November. I'm analyzing Trent Frederick's last 2 games.
Yeah.
His last 2 games have been fine. Not perfect. And I don't look at
But
salary
here's the
at every
problem,
day.
Jason. Like,
right?
I'll sit at the draft with a kid who will say, like, I can't believe it. I'm way better than him. I'm still sitting here. What they don't comprehend, because they think the NHL has all the information. It's the
But also, some players do think they're better than the other guy, even if they're not.
no, but yeah, that's true too. But in many cases, they're right. But what happens is I try and explain to them, just happened to be the scout saw his 2 best games. I remember the Suspects game. You know, the first Suspects game, people call it the Prospects game. I call it the Suspect game because quite often people are suspected when there's no hitting. Well, there's not much hitting anymore anyway, but that there's a guy, I had 2 players, Dan Folk and Lance Ward years ago. Big, strong kids. They came into the Prospects game and they hit everything that
Lance
moved.
Ward was tough. Did he not go 10th overall?
Yeah. But he should have gone probably 5th round.
Yes.
But the thing is, that game is a game all the GMs see.
Yep.
And the GMs come out of that game saying to their scouts, I love that kid.
Yes.
And the scout for the rest of the time remembers, my boss loves that kid. So in the Suspects game, 2 of them who were, they were suspected of being prospects. They went both went in the first round. Great kids, but not as capable as they were in that one game. So when a scout only sees a player play 2 or 3 times, I was talking to Matthew Darch about this morning. He says, so he's talking to his scouts. He goes, they're exactly the same. Well, he goes, okay, if they're exactly the same, then let's pick the bigger guy. Well, no, they're not exactly the same. And then, but what AI can do is give you accurate measurements. And the speed effect's an interesting one because speed live looks faster than speed on video.
Oh, for sure.
So what happens is, you see a player seems to have pretty good speed live, but it's not that good, right? Comparatively. So you're able to use all of this video can be processed and packaged in a way that every single morning, the general manager, the director of scouting is getting all the information from video. They can measure body changes, positioning and posture. Like I said, stick length. They can measure it because you see a lot of players are playing with the wrong stick, so that's preventing them from getting at their performance, at their potential.
Yes.
So that's where you can find an undervalued asset. But there's things like the halo effect. Some guys love speed or stick handling skill.
Yeah.
And that becomes the thing they watch and look for. Like we all watch anybody listening today has watched a college football game in the past, any sport. They don't even know where these universities are from. They have no connection. Within a quarter, they're cheering for somebody.
Yeah.
Because they saw something. They like the little quarterback or they like the little outside shooter. And these biases play out. And if your scouts are seeing, I said like to Darch, I said today, so like how many scouts you have? So they're all watching a game. So you're seeing 15 games today. That's it.
Yeah.
But there's maybe 200 games where those kids are playing. I want more information. I want to understand how good, how bad they are, how they're developing. Now, the beauty of this whole system is there's so much video taken of 12, 13, and 14-year-old kids.
Oh.
Now, the predictive ability AI to take all that information and say, highly probable that this guy will become this level.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty accurate. So it's happening in the friggin' cattle industry. And I think at some point an owner would wake up and say, there's not much I've done to make $1 billion that my staff is doing at a success rate of 12.3 unless it's going to Mars.
Yeah.
Like it's
well, what's the relative age effect? What's unique about it is the study came out about the reversal phenomenon of the relative age effect. And it's favored because basically the relative age effect, for anybody listening, it favors early born players in youth hockey.
Yeah, and in the NHL and the draft.
And but then a reversal emerges at the elite, and this is key, elite adult levels. In the NHL, Q3, which would be July to September, and Q4, October to December, they enter the league quicker and achieve higher productivity once established. From 2008 to 2016 season shows that Q4 players scored an average of 9 more points per season at the 90th percentile and earned 51% higher salaries than quarter one players, January to March. Now, this reversal, this is what's unique, and I think you're right. It's attributed to the underdog effect. Late-born players who survive junior disadvantages develop greater resilience, motivation, and skill efficiency, outpacing peers who relied on early maturity early on. Because that's true. You see it in hockey. You see kids, and that's why I always, when I see these minor hockey associations putting all their eggs in one basket of their top 15 kids at U9, and I'm kind of like, what are we doing?
Or game by game, there's some coaches that are playing their top, early born players, 35 minutes, and the kids, there's no rolling of lines and all that kind of stuff. And it just gives them, and it's interesting because don't you want to know? I want to know, like if someone says to me, so we know where the underdeveloped or undervalued assets are, small defensemen, European players that they don't see much, goaltenders. So I would want to say to my scouts, tell me, I would like to know who are the best of the top 5 in the area that you're scouting of all of those groups. And I want to know why we're not picking them.
Yeah.
And but I've got a whole bunch of AI backup. Now, the other thing that AI can do is it can scrub the entire internet and find out, you know what? There's this kid in Boston, has a blog. He's had it for about 8 years now. Kid's like 22. Man, he's hardly ever wrong. You can mine that information as a way of checking up on your scouts. You can also mine all of their scouting reports over the last years to see where their strengths and weaknesses.
Yes,
So,
and their biases.
Their biases.
I have a bias. Rich has a bias. Connor, everybody has a bias.
You can't.
If you don't admit you have a bias, that's a problem. Now,
well, even worse, if you don't know you have a
yeah,
bias.
Your bias can be beneficial sometimes too. Make no mistakes, right?
If you're biased in terms of undervalued assets.
Yeah, like I would look at, like, for instance, to Florida. They went out and added specific type of personality players they wanted to their team. They wanted guys, they brought in Bennett, really hard to play against. Barkov is an elite player, but you know what? He wasn't overly vocal, so they got other vocal guys. Brad Marchand fits in, right? Obviously, hey, they lucked out. They even admitted it on Forsling. They brought certain type of players. Verhaeghe isn't tough, but he plays hard. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain qualities that players have.
You have to decide as a team what style of play you want to play.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and
get players that can play it's stupid to acquire a player who plays a certain way and then expect them to change and play to your style.
Well, what happens?
Doesn't make sense.
It totally doesn't make sense. And what Florida's done, we call it an unsettled offense. What they've done is they've created puck. They do a lot of dumping and chasing and moving the puck into the corners, and they're relentless in the pursuit of it. And those players you just named are good at that. And so what they do is, by putting so much pressure on open pucks, they break down the box, they create opportunities. And the difference between them and Toronto was they were relentless on that puck. They took a vacation for a couple of games, but once they got back to it, you're right, it's trying to figure out what's your style of play, right?
Yeah.
And certain players play to that. But I think if you can just get one more core player every 2 years, you'll have so many assets in terms of prospects and draft picks that every year, the cheapest time to buy players from a cash perspective in the NHL is the trade deadline, right? Get that guy with 3 months or a month left on his deal. Cost you virtually nothing, but it costs you a ton because you're giving up a first. But if you have 4 firsts because you've been drafting so well and you've traded some prospects, you don't care. And this whole thing's an ecosystem, and teams don't understand. I never understood why everybody understands that the great coaches never talk about wins. They talk about process. But when it comes to GM, all we talk about is wins. Now, why is he losing? Is he losing because he drafted? Like, wouldn't it have been nice to know? Like, Jarmo Kekalainen was sitting around for a year. Do you know who the best drafting general manager in the National Hockey League?
Kekalainen.
Yeah, everybody else is drafting at 12.3%. He's drafting at 20.1%. I'd like to know that as the owner, because that's a fairly important part of the process.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't have any good players, the winning becomes, and they're not measuring that. They're not measuring the development of the players. Like this, let's talk about AQ in the next segment and how that will change everything. And I say to GMs all the time, so what's your Connor McDavid plan? I said that to Dart today. What do you mean my Connor McDavid plan? Well, he's free in 2 years. What's your plan? Not that I know anything about it, but there's very few, what's your Zach Hyman plan? The best player in the history of the game might be free in 2 years. What's your plan? And they don't have one, But you got to think about it. If you could say to Connor, like, we draft better, you see all the prospects, we'll talk about how likely a team that adopts a particular type of technology will keep their players playing for 5 to 7 years longer than they do historically using a new technology called AQ.
Well, we're going to talk about AQ coming up in in Q3 today.
Q3.
We're going to come back. We're going to talk about, we're talking about junior hockey and developing it there, but also the marketing side of it. That comes up next here in the Business of Sport on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The BCHL All-Star Game is coming to the Thompson Family Arena in Spruce Grove. The league's best players will go head-to-head in 2 exciting games, January 16th and 17th. The BCHL College Prospects Game takes place on Friday, January 16th at 7 p.m., while the premier matchup will see Canada take on the world on Saturday, January 17th at 7:30 p.m. For ticket inquiries and excellent group ticket packages, go to tickets.sgsaints.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling. Noodle noodle nood noodle nood noodle nood noodle noodle noods. Noodle noodle nood 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 noodle nood noodle noodle nood noodle 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 nood noodle nood noodle nood noodle noodle noods. Noodle noodle nood 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 noodle nood noodle noodle nood. Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Happy New Year. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for everything in 2025. With your help and your support, we fed almost 500 families. We donated to various charities in the Edmonton area, and we're going to do it again in 2026. Please stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play, score, and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
'27. Welcome back. Jason Gregor. Rich Winter with you. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. The Business of Sport continues on. And we're going to talk now about the marketing development when it comes to junior hockey as the Senior Director of Marketing for the Spruce Grove Saints. Chad Hohmann joins us. They are hosting the BCHL All-Star Weekend Friday and Saturday night. You got the Prospects game on Friday, and then Canada versus the world on Saturday. Chad, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, we were just talking with Rich, about, and I know, Chad, obviously you're involved in the marketing side, but, you're in a lot of the hockey meetings and the drafting. And in junior hockey, it's like marketing, developing, they kind of go hand in hand, although sometimes, the one hand's not necessarily touching the other one. But it's a key thing, because if you could keep your good young players for a few years, it can help your marketing.
Totally. When you have exciting players that make great plays and keep the fans entertained, they want to come back. So you always want to ice the best hockey team because people want to see winners. So being able to keep them and develop them and then promote them as they move on helps your program. So it's a full circle thing to get good hockey players.
What have you found as what is the biggest challenge in 25, 26 for marketing for a junior team?
Penetrating the market. We're obviously close to the Edmonton market, which is has a lot of choice for people. So it's getting in front of them, getting them wanting to come out to Spruce Grove if they don't live in Spruce Grove. We have a beautiful new facility that I think has been a game changer for us, but certainly just awareness. We don't have a local TV station that's going to cover our team, so we have to rely on ourselves and our channels, word of mouth, and the experience that fans have when they come to our games, but certainly just market penetration, I think.
This weekend, it's a big marquee event for the BCHL. There's lots of scouts coming in, of course, because, lots of the best players in the league are going to be there, both from prospects. So, you have some NHL scouts. You also have some NCAA scouts. Chad, how is it when you market something like this that's more league-wide and it's different than marketing just, for the Saints all year long because you're getting your fans to cheer for your team. How is this different, and is it more fun? Is it more challenging to try to sell an event like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different thing. It's the first time, in my time here that we've hosted a league event. So certainly some learning, but, you're promoting other players that you wouldn't, otherwise be doing. We're fortunate to have, some players, in both games. We have 3 players in the Canada versus World game and 2 in the top college prospects. So, we rely on that obviously for our fans to get behind them. But I think, as a whole, these are really good hockey players and they come from all over the world. The BCHL has players from all across Europe, United States, Asia. So I think it's trying to get people to understand the quality of hockey that's going to be on display here and get excited about that. These guys, it's not an NHL All-Star game where they've made it and it's kind of just a fun thing. Like they want to come, they want to put on a show because there are going to be eyes in the stands that might be the difference for them getting a scholarship or getting a new opportunity. So while it's an All-Star game, these guys come ready to play. And I think the Canada versus World dynamic is kind of neat because anytime I think as a young Canadian, you get to put on a jersey that has a maple leaf on it, it comes with a certain amount of responsibility. And for the guys wearing the World jersey, they're proud of where they come from. So it's not going to be a no-hitter sleeper game. These guys are going to come to play. They want to prove something and put on a show for people.
Yeah, and they've got lots to prove. Now, tell us where the events are, because there's some pretty nice new facilities where, people might want to just check it out and have a bite to eat out at Silent Nights. Is a nice restaurant out there. It's some really interesting new venues here.
Different facility. Yes, Silent Ice Center is a beautiful facility in Nisku. We're hosting the All-Star Weekend in Spruce Grove, and we opened up a new arena there earlier this spring. But it's a state-of-the-art facility. It's really spectacular. Our in-game experience is really awesome. So if people haven't been there, this is a great opportunity to see some players too that you wouldn't normally see come through here the way our league schedule works. There's only a handful of teams from, the coast and the island that end up coming out here in a season. So, our fans and junior hockey fans might not get an opportunity to see these guys again. So it's a really neat format. The building's exceptional. Jason, he was there for our home opener. So I think he can speak to it, but it's certainly worth the 15-minute drive or 20-minute drive for what you're going to get.
Well, pack up the grandchildren and go out for a fairly inexpensive event and maybe see, half a dozen or more potential NHL players. It's a great bargain and a really interesting event.
Well, Chad, the facility is great. I've been there. I've actually taken my son to a Saints game, and he's more excited that he actually gets to play there against Spruce Grove later on this year. They got a regular season game there. He's all fired up about it. So it is a fantastic facility to watch. As you obviously work for the Saints, but this is a league event. How does it work in the BCHL? How does the league work with you? Do you just take the event and it's 100% you, or are there certain guidelines? How does that work from a marketing perspective with the league when you're the host team for the All-Star Weekend?
It's a lot of collaboration. Obviously, the league wants, to drive the success of it, and we do too. We want to, showcase Spruce Grove, showcase this area, that we have great hockey fans and a facility. But certainly it's collaboration. Okay, we're going to do this. How do we piggyback off your guys' marketing? So it's certainly been a lot of fun to work with the league. We're new to the league, so a new experience and getting to know great people that are passionate about junior hockey. So it's definitely pulling on the same rope, utilizing our channels and their channels, just to ensure that the whole event as a whole is a huge success.
And so the games start 7:00 both nights, Friday and Saturday.
7:00 on Friday is the top college prospects game. And then Saturday, there's a fun event that happens pre-Canada versus World. It's BCHL Friends and Alumni versus Saints Alumni 3-on-3 game. So that actually kicks off at 6:00. So some of the names that you guys would recognize: Johnny Boychuk, Kelly Buckberger, Chris Dingman, some local Chris Joseph.
Fasani going to play, or is he too out of shape to play?
He didn't make the cut this year, I guess. So next time.
Wow. Oh, jeez.
I think there might have been a scheduling conflict.
No.
And then some celebrities, Dylan Playfair, Chad Brownlee. So it's a real fun event just before the big show. And we have a lot of very active alumni. So we have 12 of our former players that are going to be playing against them. So we're really excited about that for a family fun event. And then it rolls right into the All-Star game, Canada versus World, at 7:30.
Oh, okay, perfect. So a little earlier time to start, get there at the rink, have some fun. The BCHL overall, Chad, you mentioned new to the league, and obviously, there's a little bit more travel involved with it. And you have players coming, more European rules, obviously a little bit different than the AJHL. Has that impacted the marketing factor at all? And how much of a benefit is the new rink for you in marketing?
Well, the new rink is just a game changer for us. The Grant Fuhr, bless its heart, gave us a lot of great memories, but we outgrew the facility and our capabilities as far as we have a Jumbotron. So, our in-game activations, everything like that, we're at a pro level now. We call it Rogers Place Light. So the feedback we've been getting from fans is they're blown away that we have this facility in Spruce Grove now. And between our mascot, Chucky, and, just the lights and everything, it feels like an event. So yeah, the BCHL is, it's a different league. It's a different beast. Obviously there's more travel. The European players, I think, have been a wonderful addition. Some of these kids, if they don't make the CHL draft, there's only a few spots on every team. So there's some really high-end kids in our league that, might have just missed out on the draft, and they're looking for, top-end hockey in North America. And our league is happy to provide that opportunity to them. And it's great to have, kids from Austria and Czech Republic. They have, different culture. And so to talk with them, and they love coming over here, but certainly to learn more about them. So I think it's a really neat dynamic for our players and our staff in the league as a whole to welcome these European players, and they play hard. It's a lot of fun to have them there. So it's been really great to move over to the BCHL.
Before I let you go, we got a few texts wondering, is it true that Chris Dingman will be giving backward skating clinics on Saturday before?
I've never witnessed him skate backwards, so I hope that he can do it, but he's usually up by the blue line in our shinny.
He can catch a stretch pass better than anyone out there right now in men's league hockey. I would say that about Dingman.
Yes, he can.
For sure. He needs a map in his own zone, but man, stretch pass might be the best receiver of stretch pass going right now. So have a lot of fun, Chad, this weekend. We really appreciate it. Continued success with the Saints.
Thank you very much for having me, guys.
There you go. That's Chad Hohmann joins us, director for marketing for the Spruce Grove Saints. And hey, the business of junior hockey has definitely changed a lot in the last few years. And I know it's not Chad's place to talk about it, but I'm going to have a conversation because I think, how Hockey Canada has reacted to the BCHL and some other leagues is frankly embarrassing.
Yeah.
Right. It's beyond pathetic if I want to call a spade.
Right.
And I think it's something that more people need to be aware of, that how it's almost like if you want to kind of look in real life, that would be a bully tactic in a lot of things that they've done. And, it's really unfortunate. It's not necessary, to be honest. So That's what I've seen from Hockey Canada. I don't like it, to be honest, and I don't really think it's necessary. You could have better ways to work together, and I think it would benefit more players and benefit everybody in hockey. So that's just my side view. Now, when we come back, we're going to get back onto the tech side, and Rich has some pretty strong views on one aspect that he thinks can really help the next phase of evolution in evaluating hockey players. Coming up next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The new double cheesy melt at McDonald's. We're talking 2 juicy, mouth-watering 100% Canadian beef patties, 2 slices of cheesy goodness, with even more melty, cheesy sauce on top. Topped with pickles, then crispy and grilled onions. The way it all comes together, you don't just eat it, you melt into it. The double cheesy melt, only at McDonald's. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Clear out the old and make room for new trends. The Brick is holding their store-wide inventory clearance event. Scratch and dent, last year's models, and overstock is up to 70% off. Score mattresses starting at just $99, sofas starting at just $3.99, and dining chairs starting at just $28. And this Friday to Monday, check out incredible 4-day deals, like save the tax when you buy 2 or more eligible major appliances. Check out The Brick in Edmonton with 4 locations. Some exclusions apply. See you in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The new double cheesy melt at McDonald's. We're talking 2 juicy, mouth-watering 100% Canadian beef patties, 2 slices of cheesy goodness, with even more melty, cheesy sauce on top. Topped with pickles, then crispy and grilled onions. The way it all comes together, you don't just eat it, you melt into it. The double cheesy melt, only at McDonald's. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Curious to Low Tide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Riverside Honda, 59 years and counting as St. Albert and surrounding areas premier Honda and Can-Am dealer. It's your dream. Ride it at riversidehonda.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Oh, buddy, Dire Straits. Unreal. That was one of great albums, man. Great albums. Brothers in Arms. Oh, classic. Some really good tunes on that one. Money for Nothing. That is a great.
Money for Nothing.
That's a great.
That sounds like a hockey
song.
term. You know, I paid all this money for nothing.
yeah. The experience. So yeah, I want to get into AQ, right? Like when you, because we look at kind of the next phase of this, and I know some people are scared of technology, and I understand why, because there are lots of negative technologies. Let's be honest here. We could have a whole laundry list, but there are some that, if used properly, can benefit. And so if we're just talking from a pure professional sports angle right now, this is kind of like predictable models when it comes to, player development,
drafting,
health,
finding, underdeveloped, valued assets.
Maintaining people's career. Because I think one of the bigger challenges when you see teams that, this guy's 32. Well, should we acquire him? He's got 4 years left. But how long is he going to last? There's always a little concern. Now, it's different, and it's still hard for people because 32, some people still think is old by NHL standards.
Yeah, it's not really anymore.
Not anymore. It's changed. Like you're seeing
37,
players
38, 36, 38.
That especially the top end players are playing longer.
It's the lighter skaters.
At a higher rate, right? Like even you look at Matthias Ekholm, right? Like defensemen of his style were, in his size, 36 years of age, a decade and a half ago, they were playing, but probably his third pair guys still.
Well, conditioning's part of it too.
Sure. Well, and nutrition and lots of things, but the predictability model when it comes to injuries.
Well, so AQ is an interesting combination of quantum sensors, and quantum is just measuring things at a very small molecular level.
Yes.
Everything on the planet has a magnetic field. So without getting into too much detail, there's been AI algorithms directed. So we've all heard of a guy who got an electrocardiogram, right? Clean bill of health, and went out running 3 weeks later, died of heart attack because the electrical signal sent through your chest isn't accurate enough to pick up the plaque. But when you have a sensor like this that relies on a magnetic field, it can pick up a piece of plaque smaller than the tip of a pin. Pretty important for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they used AI because the signals, the sensors are so sensitive that when they tested it at the University of San Francisco Hospital, they're picking up the magnetic field from the elevator and the cell phones. So they had to use some AI without getting into the details to, sort of filter the noise.
Sure.
But when it comes to professional athletics, those sensors, which can just scan over your body, fully clothed, it can pick up an injury before it happens because something happens to a groin. Catastrophic, hit, you can't do anything about that. But many of these muscle injuries develop at a molecular level before they manifest as an injury. So wouldn't it be handy if you had a device that could say, Jason's about to have a problem, needs a bit of rest. Well, we can't see the problem. The MRI can't pick it up, but our AQ can pick it up. That would allow you to manage the salary cap, but it also would allow you to prevent injuries, keep a player healthy. Now, if you could go to a free agent and say, you know what, it's cap world. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
I know the Rangers are offering you, $10 million a year.
Yeah.
I know Florida and that beautiful tax-free state's offering you same deal. You're going to play 5 to 7 years longer here. And let us explain to you why. And once they see it and understand it, wouldn't you as a fan, you can forget AI and say it's going to take all the scouts' job. We tried to make that clear. The scouts are still going to make the final decisions. You're just going to have a whole bunch more information so they don't mistakes. I loved what one AI expert said to me the other day. Our job is not to be perfect. Our job is to make less mistakes than the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, so wouldn't you want your team to have a competitive advantage, right? Connor McDavid had a decision to make this year. Well, what if Edmonton was able to have this tech, that he could play 5 to 7 years longer? That's going to be an attractive item for free agents because none of these guys want to quit. Why would they? Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're men playing a kid's game. They're having a great time. They can play at a high level. So it'll keep players playing at a high level. Teams need to be exploring this, but they're not.
And the interesting other thing about this, Rich, is because you have more players playing longer, there's less openings.
Yeah.
So now drafting becomes it twofold. It looks at it and says draft picks aren't as valuable other than making the right. We only really need to have 2 or 3 draft because we just don't have that many openings every year in our team, right? Realistically. And especially if players play longer.
The draft picks aren't anywhere near as valuable as these GMs think. That people think you gave away a first round pick. Look at Julian Brisebois has been giving away first round picks like chewing gum, but he understands that a pick late in the first round has very little difference in terms of the probability of successfully picking a player than it does in the 4th or 5th round. So there's been times that, I talked about this with Matthew Darch today. He said, we gave up a late first. They got a first round pick. Well, who cares? You got it from Tampa. You'll be picking 30th.
Yeah.
And
you can find good players there, no question.
You
but
can.
The odds are lower.
The odds are lower, but they're not much higher than the players available in the third round. Because remember, there's all those kids that are developing late. Yeah. They're all out there. And if your scouts are doing a good job. So it's just the draft capital. And if they're playing longer, the team that gets on drafting a little bit better, they're going to come to the trade deadline. Right now, it's in a very expensive proposition. Everybody's overpaying, right?
Mm-hmm.
With draft capital and all that. The money's cheap. I mean, pick up a player with an expiring contract. That's the cheapest financial deal you can do to take a run at the next round or a victory.
Yeah.
Well, what if you had drafted so well, kept your players healthy for a little bit longer? Now you have all this draft capital. You don't mind throwing it away. Because you got tons of prospects, you got a bunch of draft picks you picked up in trade for other prospects. Now the trade deadline becomes a party for you, right? It becomes an inexpensive way to acquire the last pieces to a championship puzzle. And if you have 3 first-round picks next year, you don't mind giving up one. But Toronto giving up one for Brandon Carlo and one for Lawton, probably not a good decision. And if you look at the teams that are using this, people don't understand this because sports doesn't focus on this. If you study the modern dynasty, Man City, Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Dodgers, and even the Mumbai Indians in the Professional Cricket League, these are groups that the company came in that bought them, or the people, usually private equity or a major corporation, said, we're not buying into that hockey is different thing. Because it's not different. We buy assets undervalued, we manage them, and we develop them, and then we manage them. So they started all these teams have done is just applied the same principles that would apply to business and get away from the general manager being measured by wins, because the wins are a byproduct of a process, no different than on the ice. Every coach that's worth his weight in salt basically never talks about wins. He talks about the process. But when you're managing anybody in your employment, based on the result, you're missing the point, because what happens is you're going to be 5 years late firing them, right?
Yeah.
Because you should have been measuring. I'd like to know, okay, so let's look at the last 5 drafts. You got to go back a few years.
So you always have to go back.
But you go back a few years. Let's look at your first 3. Let's see how you did. Let's have AI really sort this thing out and tell us, you know what? Because what happens all the time, I hear owners go, we had a great draft. Oh, really? Who'd you hear that from? Well, the guy who's drafting.
Yeah.
The guy who doesn't want, whose contract's up in a year.
I always chuckle the most at the day after the draft in baseball and football. Who won the draft? I'm like, all the people that are writing it are based on their own biases. And they're like, I really like this player. Oh, Montreal got him. So Montreal's got an A. And this team didn't take him. Well, they got a C. And what are you talking about? It doesn't change. I never read one of those anymore. I'm like, this is the biggest waste of my time, because we all have a bias. Like, do you think if I like Johnny Smith going into the draft and the Johnny Smith, who I thought was a top 10 pick, goes 14th, I'm going to be like, oh my God, that's the best pick of the draft because I love Johnny Smith. Doesn't mean it's the best pick. It's what I think it means.
No, because Braden Porn was available in the 3rd round and Kirill Kaprizov was available 3 rounds later. Now, and just package this for a fan, because a lot of fans will think, AI, this is all intimidating, but I don't understand it. But if you understand one thing, I want my team to have a competitive advantage.
Yep.
So I want to understand what they're doing, because if not, I might want to take a look at becoming a Islanders fan or somebody else,
Yeah. Well, you look at, we use Tampa Bay as an example about how they gave away other players. So they've won 11 straight games this year right now.
Yeah.
Victor Hedman hasn't played in one of them.
No.
Emil Lilleberg, who was playing 20 minutes earlier.
Braden points out.
Hasn't played. Point just missed 1 game. Ryan McDonough's only played 2 games. Cernak has only played 7. And Cernak and McDonough never played in the same game, right? They were hurt. So you have guys, Darren Radish, who right now is almost a point-a-game defenseman.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Undrafted. You have Charles-Edouard Destoux, undrafted, playing 20 minutes a night. You have Declan Carlisle, undrafted. Right, and then you got Crozier or Carlisle. One of them's undrafted, and the other one's a 4th rounder. I'm looking it up. Yeah, sorry, Crozier was the 4th rounder. So, and they've basically retooled their defense on the fly by doing some professional scouting, getting some undrafted players who they then signed when they were a little bit later
Hagen
on.
Up front, they got grabbed Hagen
Hagel. So you can, the draft is one way to enhance your team. And there is, history will tell us, if you want a top-end offensive player, your best chances are in the top 5. I know there's Kirill Kaprizov, there's exceptions.
Or free agency. But yeah, you're right.
But even in free agency now, who's the last big free agent to leave?
Nobody.
Right? John Tavares. In the last decade, it'd be John Tavares. Steven Stamkos left. He's at the end of his career. He's having a good year, but Nashville hasn't made the playoffs with him, and they're not in a playoff position yet. Maybe they never will be. We'll see. But it's more so draft. Now, you can trade for some of them, right? We've seen more trades of young players, but if you want a high-end skill, but that's just one position. You can get second liners, you can get third liners, you can get fourth liners, you can get top defensemen second round and later, 15th pick in the first round and later, 10th pick in the first round and later, or undrafted. The one thing that's very hard. Now, there's exceptions. Obviously, Marty St. Louis would be. So are there major outliers? Yes. But for the most part, if you want a top scorer in the NHL, you're getting a top.
But the outliers are found in specific categories, and that's something you need much more information. You're not going to find those having your scouts see that player play once.
Oh, gosh, no.
So they've got to have a way of collecting the information, organizing it so scouts can see that. So think about, look, a good scout, if he had the ability to filter through and see the information for every single player who ever played a game as a prospect for an NHL draft, the guy's going to make a better decision. Now, it's just frightening that they don't do this. But, again, these owners, what's interesting, these owners have done all of these things in their business. So here's what you need to be successful. Think of Google. Close with this. So Google was a search company, right?
Yeah.
They had a ton of people working 24/7, selling advertising, creating algorithms to get us addicted to watching these things, right? They're busy. That's hockey ops, right? That's a group of people at Google and a group of people at an NHL team that are working in the business. Where did Google Maps come from? Where did Gmail come from? Where did the autonomous cars come from? Where did all this come from? It came from another group who's working on the business, doing research, looking for angles, creating things that other teams don't have, or other, in those cases, companies. And that's why all the tech team companies have been doing this for couple of decades. That's why the top 7 in the Fortune 500 are all tech companies. So if you have an organization that is never working on its business or has very little time to it, they're going to fall behind the people that are. And that's all this is about, is looking for tools that will help you make better decisions. Like I said earlier, make less mistakes than the other guy.
Yeah, I like that.
And you win.
Yeah, not to be perfect. Everybody, there's no such what's perfect, right? Nothing's perfect. And I think that we're not going to be perfect. We just want to make less mistakes. And you think about it, in the game of hockey itself, usually if you have less mistakes, your chances of winning
what John Wooden
increase
used to say? I was blessed to have lunch with Coach Wooden, and he reiterated this comment to me. He says, games aren't won. They're very seldom won. They're lost. And all he did with his UCLA Bruins is much like the Florida Panthers are doing with their unsettled offense, he forced the other team to play at a speed they weren't comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
They were on top. The Bruins, you knew everything they were going to do every time they came into your building. You just couldn't stop it because they practiced so hard. They played at speed that was almost intolerable. And that's what you have to do. If you eliminate mistakes in a sport, you win. It's that simple. Force the other guy to play faster than he wants to. Force him to make a mistake. It's that simple.
Rich, great stuff, buddy. Have yourself a good trip to Chicago.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah.
What is it? 100-year celebration? Is that what it is?
100-year celebration, yeah.
So they're bringing back all the great Hawks. Hosts are going to be there or what?
Yeah. So I'm going to just hang out with Marion and Michael Rosabal and Thomas Kopetsky and a bunch of
the Czech Mafia.
That would be
Slovakia.
The Slovak
Czech Mafia. Yeah, a little the old Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia, yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Awesome. We'll have fun in Chicago.
Can you imagine if Czechoslovakia is still together? Canada wouldn't have a chance at a gold medal ever again. Nor would anybody else.
Get the hell out of here.
Look at add those two teams up. The Czech team beat them without any Slovaks.
Well, okay. Are you talking World Juniors?
Yeah, World Juniors.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, it might be a little tough.
But by the way, that was it's good for Czechia because they went 20 years by doing nothing.
Do the numbers. The Czechs have 12,000 registered hockey players.
Yeah.
We have 500,000, and we're
there's
a lot more that can be done here.
No doubt there is. But the easiest one would be if the 7 Canadians who are in the NHL were playing the World Juniors, they'd probably be better. Just saying. There wasn't 7 Czechia players in the NHL. Matthew Schaefer, Macklin Celebrini, think they would have helped the World Junior team?
They probably would. Yeah, but keep in mind, I don't think that's anything to be excited about. We have 500,000 players, and we're losing to them or just barely beating. We need to create a better development program.
Yeah, but we've won the last 2 U17s, including finishing first and second with the only country with 2 teams.
You give me 500. You give me 500,000 players to draw from. I can beat a team. Sure. I should beat a team that has 13,000 to choose from.
No, they have though. Right? They're not going to win all the time.
No, but I think what identifies is we need a better development program.
I think in certain areas, I will be 100% agree.
But you know what?
I think we put what's hurting minor hockey, in my opinion, is you have too many adults that think they're going to pick the next NHL player at the age of 8 or 9. At the root of it, that is our biggest problem. They're trying now. All of a sudden, it's like we got to have traveling teams at U8 and U9 and U10, and I'm like, why? You don't know what size they're going to be.
I would say the biggest problem is,
and we just outlined it with advantages early on in life. And some of these kids now play on the same team that they pay to play on with the same players for 5 years, and then they get out of it and they're like, well, I don't know how to play with someone else.
Well, and I think I would say the bigger problem is just, Europeans generally from a very young age have professional coaches, right? And that's a big difference. I mean, it's great that the dads are volunteering and all of that stuff, but it creates a very, very different quality of coaching across the league, across the country. So that's a problem that could be handled. A lot of great, some of the players I talked, like Mike Comrie, I remember telling me once the best coaches he ever had was in Edmonton, playing Pee Wee hockey, right? And ultimately some very good, very talented, very intelligent people coaching. We just need to provide a little bit more development, education so that we get, because quite frankly, with 500,000 players to choose from, it should be a spanking. It shouldn't be a 2-1 overtime victory.
Yeah, fair. And some people just pay for fun too. Like you got to take out a lot of those. They're just like, you know what? I'm just here for fun. Right.
Right.
Which is totally fine.
And you know what? There's a few guys playing Slovakia for fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind that the original Pilsner beer was developed in Pilsen, Czech Republic. So there's probably a lot of guys in that town playing just for fun.
This is good beer, by the way. Have fun in Chicago. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Thanks, man.
It's Rich Winter joining us here on the Business of Sport. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Once again, just want to thank you all and look for continued success in 2026 when it comes to helping feed families. They fed over 500 last year and looking to do the same this year. NorthgateGM.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
4 games tonight in the NHL. You got the Devils and the Kraken, Flyers in Buffalo Sens up against the Rangers, and the Kings host the Golden Knights in the Association. Raptors in action, taking on the Pacers. Tip off in about 5 minutes time. You'll also have the Sixers and the Cavs, Jazz in Chicago. Pelicans host the Nets, Nuggets taking on the Mavs, Kings, Knicks, and the Wizards in LA for a matchup with the Clippers. In the WHL, the Oil Kings hosting the Medicine Hat Tigers tonight and down at Rogers Place. Puck drop at 7. In the AJ2 games tonight, Bonneville and Lloyd, Whitecourt up against Devon. Both those games will start at 7. And in the PWHL, Boston hosting Toronto at 5. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, Derek Van Diest from NHL.com, and we'll hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want a combo,
Edmonton is the Wednesday. Welcome back. It is
no
the
Wednesday. No interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only
Gregor.
$6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your
Unreal. That was one of
Papa
great
John's with a
albums,
$6
man.
one-top medium when you
Great
order any
album,
large
Brothers in
specialty at
Arms.
regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Your all-access pass to the world of sports is Edmonton's only sports radio station.
From pre- and post-game hockey shows to in-depth analysis from your favorite commentators, the action never stops on Sports 1440.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. Ooh, some pretty good tunes today from the Con Man. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show, as always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Hope you are having a fantastic day. It's a record-breaking day when it comes to weather. That is wild. Wild. 11 degrees in the city today. Ooh, mama. Hopefully you got all the ice scraped off. Should have melted now. Get rid of it. Because some of you probably had some icy steps in certain areas of your place. But now that's the only benefit of this. You can get rid of some of the ice, and then unfortunately that means the ODR ice is going away. Well, that's not ideal. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 is where you can text us here on the show. It's time now for the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists, who have they do all the things that you might not see to keep us moving. Running water, getting the infrastructure done so we get roadways finished and more. You'll see them right now. Can't get the yellowhead done until they're done. They're the first step, the key step, the foundation at GS Construction. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Doing great, man. What's going on? It is pretty warm out there. Not loving this 11 degree stuff.
No, it's not. I know it sounds crazy, but in jet, no, it's too much. It's too much for me anyway. It was too much giveaways for the Edmonton Oilers. And but before we get to that, Spec, I have I've been watching, and there's a trend, and I've talked about this last year, talked about it the year before, I didn't like it, and I think it's only getting worse. The NHL 3-on-3 has become infinitely more boring than ever has been before. And my solution of over and back, I've talked about it for years. Did you know that in Sweden, They have a rule in place in the hockey Allsvenskan League that if a team deliberately exits the offensive zone in overtime, the whistle blows. There's a face-off in the offending team zone. Basically, no line change allowed, like icing. And the second offense is a 2-minute minor, because we're seeing teams now, they come and they shoot the puck all the way back in their own zone just to regroup. Like, it's awful. It's awful. It used to be end-to-end excitement. Now it's like, oh, can we circle back? Oh, no, let's circle back again. It's awful.
Yeah, I tried to do a story on that a couple months ago, and I asked some guys in the Oilers room, and basically what they said to me was, don't ask us because we play the right way. You're in the wrong dressing room to ask that question. And I, you know what? I'm not being a homer. They're right. The Oilers were lucky watching the Oilers because they play the game properly. Like, they play overtime straight ahead and try to score. And we are seeing more and more of it. And I think as a group of hockey observers that watch, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard were as deadly a trio as there is in the league on overtime. What we see is the opponent just trying to milk time to get them off the ice, right? So it's a fun overtime when Edmonton has the puck, but it's particularly dreary when the other guys do because they're just ragging the puck. And no, that was not what was intended, Jay. You're right about that.
Yeah, it's getting worse. There's fewer games decided in overtime. I don't need to see more shootouts. I'd prefer to see less shootouts, to be honest, across the league. Unless Trevor Zegras is in it, it's not overly riveting stuff. Like, I can only see the same deke that many times. It's kind of whatever. But the Oilers, I know they lost the game in overtime, and we can debate about hey, I didn't mind Jari going out to play. If he doesn't go play, it's a break. So, what? That's fine. Even everybody's like, wow, they got caught their guys on the ice. Josi was on the ice longer than Draisaitl and McDavid. O'Reilly was on the ice at the exact same time as McDavid and Draisaitl. They got off 2 seconds earlier because the puck was into Edmonton zone and they cleared it out. So they were on the ice longer. I didn't really see an opportunity where they could have clearly changed, right? They had gone through 3 rotations of forwards. Like, do you think you're going to use 8 forwards before you use McDavid and Draisaitl again? That'd be kind of stupid if I'm being honest. So overtime didn't cost them the game. Their horrific puck management and regulation cost them that game, man, because they gifted Nashville 2 goals directly off of turnovers that led to them scoring twice.
Yeah, they just didn't play a sharp game. They weren't nearly as attentive, right? I thought in the Chicago game they didn't make mistakes. That's why they had the puck all night, and that's why they just kept grinding Chicago and grinding them, and they never gave any oxygen to the Blackhawks. Not very often. Yeah. That was not the case in Nashville. Listen, they were just okay. And I got to say this too. When you're Nashville, you're awfully sick of losing to that blue and orange team, man. You're awfully tired of that team coming in your rink and hearing all those stats. And here comes Draisaitl, 48 points in 22 games, whatever it is. Like, there's a little pride here for the Nashvilles.
But he did get 3 points
twice in 20 games or something. Come on.
Yeah.
You're going to win something once in a while. Give him a break.
It's true, but Draisaitl did have 3 more points.
Yeah, and he had 3 points anyway, but it's inevitable that a bunch of hockey players are going to bury a chance and win a game. You don't get to win every night, folks. I hate to tell you.
No, but if you protect the puck better than I really liked Howard's read to intercept the pass, and then he just gave it away, right? But then I didn't like the decision. I didn't like from Knobloch was taking Lazar out of the game and keeping Mangiapane in. I would have just put Howard in for Mangiapane because Spec, I don't know if there was, did you see anything in Mangiapane's game last night that make you think, oh, he's starting to play better? No, it seems like he's getting worse.
Well, I mean, you are trying to rehab the asset to an extent too, right? I think you're trying to blow a little, wind into his sails. He's your last forward. You're trying to say to him, hey, you know what? You get to play 2 games in a row. Let's see what you got. And, obviously you didn't repay them with much, and I suspect he'll be out of the lineup next game. But again, I think this is just a team, Jason, trying to manage that asset, trying to get Mangiapane a little confidence, trying to do something for the guy, because either he's going to help you win or he's going to help someone else win. But sitting in the press box not helping anybody.
No, not well. But at the same time, sitting in the press box, if it's helping the Oilers win games by him not playing, well, then that is a good thing. And Not saying he's the sole reason they lost last night. I just would have switched him and Howard again, like they did in the first game, and stuck with it. And I'd put Lazar back in tomorrow night. I'll tell you that, against New York Islanders, with no hesitation in my mind.
Yeah, Lazar's a solid pro. I don't think, when they signed Lazar, didn't we all think he was going to play 45, 50 games? Isn't that what we thought? I didn't see him being an 82 game player. So
no, but with Henrique out of the lineup, and it was more so he played really well in Chicago. That line was great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have sat him out. That's all I'm saying.
That's
I'm
fair.
not saying the guy can never sit out, but after that game, I wouldn't have sat him out.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Yeah. You look at the order spec and the third line center. I still think it's an issue. I think Jack Roslovich has played well. Now, I understand if the coach is hesitant to move Nugent Hopkins off of the wing because McDavid's on a 20-game heater, and Nugent Hopkins obviously played a part in that. So I get it. But at some point here, I need to see Nugent Hopkins as a third-line center and see what I have before the trade deadline.
Well, geez, the guy's played 1,000 games in New Jersey. Are we still trying to figure out what he is?
But I think he's a better third-line center than he is a winger.
Well, my point is, if you think that, that's fine. I don't think we need to play him there for 5 games to convince ourselves. We should know by now exactly what Nugent Hopkins is and what he's capable of as a left winger and as a centerman. Come on, the guy's been in town for 10 years. So, if you like him as a center, I don't know. I'm not sure that I agree with you. I'm not sure Roslovic's my third line center either, but he's been doing a pretty decent job. I'm not sure he's not the guy.
No, he's not the guy.
I still see a harder to play against guy in that role. One of the best, two of the best third line centers in Oilers history was Mike Pekka, and before that, Craig McTavish, two solid face-off men, good penalty killers, hard to play against, not necessarily drive their own line, so to speak, but they really fulfilled what I think is a mandate in a good team for third line centerman. And I don't think Nuge is that guy. I just don't think he's that guy. He's not the greatest face-off guy. He's not that hard. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think he's the abrasive third-line center that – I'm not sure that guy's on this team. It was probably Henrique 3 years ago, but it's not Henrique now.
Yeah,
I got to find that guy.
Yeah, does he need – I don't know. I'm not sold he needs to be abrasive. Lostarinen isn't abrasive. And he was a third-line center in Florida the last 2 Stanley Cups. Florida's Colorado's third-line center when they won wasn't abrasive. You know what? If you want abrasive, get an abrasive winger to go with him then. But Nuge, he's responsible defensively. He has enough offense where you can say, you know what? We can play him against the other team's top lines and not be like, oh my God, we're going to get caved in, right? You're not going to worry about that too much. And like if him and Roslovic are on a line, there's a lot of speed, right? Roslovic can take some of the face-offs, on other sides if need be. So I think Nuge, and when Nuge played center this year, when he plays center, he's actually more productive 5-on-5 than he is even when he plays wing with McDavid. So that's why I like him as a center iceman. I just think he's moving his feet more. He's less stationary, and he gets more engaged. I find his overall game is better when he plays center.
Well, to me, then this is probably a trade deadline issue because you don't. If you take him off of McDavid's wing, you need a guy. That guy's not Ike Howard yet.
No. Could it be Jack Roslovic?
I don't know. Jeez, as a left wing on that line, or do you move Hyman over? Maybe. Sure.
Yeah, Hyman's played left or right? Like Hyman plays. There. Yeah, he plays left there quite a bit.
Is Kapanen going to stick as your second line right winger? I'm not so sure about that.
I've really liked Kapanen since he's come back.
Me too, but it's been 5 games. Let's see. So there's some question. They
need another top 6 winger. I would agree with you wholeheartedly. They need another one, no question.
Yeah, we're adding one more guy. It's just a question of who's available and what you add. Let's just say, in the strangest, goofiest world, that Ryan O'Reilly becomes available. Well, then Nuge stays where he is, and O'Reilly comes as your third line center. Like to me, it's the market is what I'm trying to say. I think the trade market may dictate where the Oilers go on this front. Whoever is available, the best player available, if they can find an awesome 3C, then leave Nuge where he is. If you find a killer left winger, then you move Nuge down.
Yeah. I look at teams like Vancouver's out of it for sure. So there's a team and you look and say, are there any forwards on Vancouver that you'd say, okay, you know what? I'd be quite interested in.
Sherwood, but he's a third line winger.
Yes. So he's one. So he doesn't really fit. He adds something you like.
He's a good player.
But he doesn't address one of your biggest needs, right? If you couldn't get one of your other needs, you would definitely take him. I would agree with you on that.
Okay.
Other than that, like Jake DeBrusk got a lot of money on his contract, so that's a tougher one. The funny enough, the Winnipeg Jets, all of a sudden Jonathan Toews is really starting to score here. He's got 4 goals in his last 5 games. Maybe it's just taking him some time. So if that continues for another month, maybe they're like, maybe. I still think maybe it's a reach, but we'll see. Calgary, I'm not sure Calgary has anyone that, Blake Coleman, I guess, right? But he's not he's a third line winger. He's not a top guy. The St. Louis Blues spec are a team that the Oilers have made deals with, and they have a center that fits the bill of what you talked about with having a little bit of grease and nastiness with them in Braden Shen. The problem is he has 2 years left after this at 6.5. He's just too expensive.
Yes.
Right?
St. Louis is a budget team that's not eating any salary.
Yeah. The Chicago Blackhawks don't really have anybody that's like they're not trailing Tyler Bertuzzi. Obviously, they're not trading Bedard. Jason Dickinson, would he be a third line center option for you?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I'd have to kind of. I you know what? I've watched Jason Dickinson play. I get where you're going with it. If you're asking me yay or nay, I'm not giving you yay or nay. I'm going to have to, if I was Stan Bowman, I'd send my best scout out and watch him 6 games in a row, and I'd go for 3 of them. How about that?
Yeah, my problem with Dickinson is he's had one good offensive season, and the rest of the time he's a single-digit goal scorer, and he's like a 20-point guy. So
yeah,
that's like a low-end offensive third-line center, and maybe they don't need offense; they just need a good checking center, which he is good. Wow. That's the one thing he'd be more of a checking third line center, which is fine if you look and say, hey, we're comfortable to say, Dickinson, you can play against McKinnon's line a few times because that frees up McDavid from not paying him. And we think you're good enough defensively that you can break even on 3 shifts a game.
Yep.
But those 3 shifts, McDavid can play against the other guy. So there is some strategy there. Other than that, there's not a ton of team spec right now that you say, okay, like the Ducks, they started great. Maybe they'll just keep free falling, but even them, I'm not sure they got a lot of guys. The Rangers, hey, the one guy spec, the biggest fish might be Panarin. And I know it'd be a lot, but my God, that's like, there's your scoring winger. Are you kidding me? That would be worth a swing for me.
What's his contract status?
Oh, it's the last year of his deal. He's a free agent at the end of the summer. At the end of the season. So you're getting him for 1 year. Now, I know his cap hit in the playoffs would be, because his cap hit in the regular season would be less because you're getting basically a quarter of it, right? But in the playoffs, he would be like a $5.8 million player in the playoffs. But even at 5.8, man, that's a hell of a player for me. Like the Rangers are going to eat half of it because it's only the rest of the season. Like, who cares?
Yeah,
So,
I guess we're if he's made available, there'll be a bunch of teams after him.
How can he not be spec? They're dead last in the Eastern Conference, and he's an unrestricted free agent. They don't have a contract extension now.
You would think so. You would think. Yeah. Listen, I like the player. I don't like the guy much, right? I don't like the guy. Now, Edmonton has a strong dressing room, so they could probably bring that guy in, but that guy hasn't. There's a few reasons why the Rangers have completely imploded, and their culture has gone in the sewer. And he's a big leader on that team, so I'll let you take that where you want. But the guy can play. The guy can play. That's a lot of cap room to bring in. And what you're going to have to get your head around a young player going out, right? A guy like Panarin, there's of his skill level, there will be a lineup of teams kicking those tires. And who are you moving here? You moving Quinn Hudson? You moving a guy like that? What are you doing?
Dude, if I'm getting Panarin, and if I have to move Quinn Hudson, like I'm not even like, where do I sign? Like, no offense to Quinn Hudson, come on,
Okay.
let's be realistic. Like,
well, you're moving, but you'd
have to move Ike Howard. You'd probably have to, and I would like Edmonton's in the win now mode. Like those, that's why you have good young prospects and good young players, so you can trade for established veterans when you're in your window to win. That's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's win now mode. There's no doubt about it. they bleed away most of their draft picks. And now you do have some young guys coming up that you like. They just signed Quinn Hudson to a 2-year deal, which is, something we didn't all see coming for sure. But I just don't get a big lather on for Panarin. I don't like the guy.
Okay. Well, I would, if they could get Panarin, man, I think that would solve a lot of the problems for their scoring. He's not the great defensive guy. I don't care. Not every top six winger has to be a Selke Trophy nominee. He'd be motivated. It's the final year of his contract. He's going to want to play well. Now, he's got a no move clause. I have no idea if he wants to come to Canada, if he wants to come to Edmonton. I've never even discussed it. But that McDavid Draisaitl pull is pretty powerful.
It's pretty strong. Yeah,
especially for a lot of wingers, right? Like I'm not sure there's many that are like, I don't want to go. Because it might only be for 3 months. Everybody knows you're not coming here for full time. You might be. Maybe you like it, you come here. But in the meantime, it might only be from March until the end of June if things go well. So, right, and it's pretty nice weather. Anybody who's been here in April, May, June is pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. So
I'll tell you what, it's a long shot that they're going to get Panarin for any kind of run this year. It's a 0 shot he's signing here long term, buddy. He ain't signing in Edmonton. This is a Russian guy who set it up so that he could get to the Rangers in the first place. He ain't coming to Edmonton. So for a couple months, for sure. For a new contract, yeah, no chance.
Yeah. Spec, have yourself a great day, buddy. Appreciate it.
Hey, man.
It's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Quick break. DVD will join us next. It's the Gregor Show. Sent by PlayAlberta.ca.
The new double cheesy melt at McDonald's. We're talking 2 juicy, mouth-watering 100% Canadian beef patties, 2 slices of cheesy goodness, with even more melty, cheesy sauce on top. Topped with pickles, then crispy and grilled onions. The way it all comes together, you don't just eat it, you melt into it. The double cheesy melt, only at McDonald's. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Clear out the old and make room for new trends. The Brick is holding their store-wide inventory clearance event. Scratch and dent, last year's models, and overstock is up to 70% off. Score mattresses starting at just $99. Sofas starting at just $3.99. And dining chairs starting at just $28. And this Friday to Monday, check out incredible 4-day deals, like save the tax when you buy 2 or more eligible major appliances. Check out The Brick in Edmonton with 4 locations. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:27. Welcome back. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. Well, you probably should be. It's pretty warm out if you like the warm weather. Always makes you feel good. It's nice. Allows you to scrape away some ice. We got some funny people. There's some neighborhood brawls going on, Some people who haven't shoveled compared to the people who have shoveled. And now the melted snow is going on their sidewalk, and now it's all ice. So there's lots of puddles of water. Oof. Gonna have some neighborhood brawls going on. Shovel your sidewalk, folks. I do agree on that. Like, just be a good neighbor. Be a good neighbor. And not like State Farm, just a good neighbor. NHL action tonight, kind of a light night in the NHL. Artemi Panarin is in action, though. Just he is the name to watch to me for free agency and teams. He's a highly, highly skilled player. There's no one can deny that. Spec isn't a fan of him, and that's totally fine as a person. And I can't say I know Panarin very well at all, so can't comment on that. But I kind of respect some of the stuff. Like the guy, wasn't a big fan of Putin, so I'm kind of like can't hate him that much. His playoffs, the last few years in the playoffs with the Rangers in 24, he had 15 points in 16 games. In 22, he had 16 points in 20 games. So pretty good. The only thing is he's not a huge goal scorer. He's a good goal scorer, but he's only had one season of over 40 goals. And, this year he still has 50 points in 46 games, like he's a point-a-game player. So he'd be pretty dynamic. And now he's a right shot, but he can play the left side. Do I think the odds of him coming to Edmonton are high? No. But he's an intriguing player for lots of teams. Right? Like, just imagine if a team adds him to their top six. What if Dallas does? Makes him a lot more dangerous, right? Oh, Minnesota. So, and Vegas, don't rule out Vegas. Can never rule out Vegas on big trades. So I'm just saying, like, the Oilers need a top six winger, and he'd be the best top six winger. He's a right shot who plays the left side and has played the whole time. He's obviously very comfortable there. So, hey, Gregor, I thought his full 11.6 cap counts in the playoffs. No. It's how it works is 50%. If you retain 50% of a salary on a player, but when you trade for him at the deadline, you're really only taking on about a quarter of his salary cap because there's only a quarter of the season left, right? So but once the playoffs come, the 50% of his actual cap hit is what happens. So it's a quarter really on the regular season cap, but when you get to the playoffs, if you have a player that you've retained 50% off, if you have a player, that's what it is. It's 50% of their actual cap hit. So it kind of hurts teams a little bit in that regard. So, but keep in mind, in the playoffs, it's also only 20-man roster, the game day roster that's going to count against the cap, not your entire roster. So there you go. Let's get to our regular Tuesday guest. Joins us from NHL.com, Derek Van Diest. DVD, how you doing, my man?
Good, Jason. How you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Now I know I think you live in a condo, do you not? Or an apartment, so you don't have to shovel, do you?
No, I don't have to shovel. No, I pay condo fees, so they shovel for me.
Yeah. Pretty expensive. What's your thoughts on overtime? And like Nashville, 3 times they shot all the way back into their own zone. Like the Swedish league in Swedish now, and this is the first year they're doing it. Basically, when you enter the offensive zone, if you purposely exit, it's now a whistle and a face-off in the offensive zone. Can't make a line change, and if you do it again, it's a minor penalty. Because I just think it's become ridiculous, the safety net of the NHL 3-on-3 now, where teams just all they want to do is now, even if you want to start out and say it's center ice, I don't care. But this going all the way back in your zone constantly is just a joke. Where do you come up?
Yeah, and Vancouver Canucks do that a lot, or they did that a lot in overtime. They just suck in the life out of overtime, and they won't take a shot. I remember, when it first came in, overtime was back and forth, chances back and forth, and I think now teams look at a line like the Oilers, their top line that goes out there, McDavid and Draisaitl and probably Bouchard, and they go, well, we're just going to keep the puck away from them for 2 minutes, and then they're going to have to change. And I think that's the strategy. I think some teams are are kind of employing now. But I do like the thought of, no over and back like basketball. Once you cross that red line, you can't come back across the red line. And then what that does is if you're in the zone and if you want to come out of your zone, then you're kind of trapped. You're trapped between the blue line and the red line. You can't go any further than that. So you might see some turnovers in that zone or whatever. But yeah, I'm with you. But you look at some coaches and go, okay, well, we don't like our matchup. If we lose the draw or if we win the draw, we're going to just hold the puck and hold the puck and hold the puck. And we've seen the Canucks do that a ton this year, where they just suck the life out of overtime, and they're supposed to be exciting and fun, and now they don't. So I don't know how you fix that. You hate to think, okay, well, you're going to have to restrict the ice somehow. You're going to have to make it smaller. But I agree, like the blue line works for me, but I'd also agree that, once you carry it over the red line, you can't come back. If you come back, it's a face-off in your own zone or whatever it is, or however you want to punish the team for bringing it over and back. But I think, you got to stop this whole, we're just going to skate the puck around for the first 3 minutes of overtime while your top guys go off and we can play your second unit.
Yeah, I don't, it's bothered me. And it's not just Edmonton. I've watched around the league, man, and it is brutal. I watch lots of other overtime games because I have people saying, oh, if teams don't have offense like Edmonton and Colorado and Montreal. No, it's lots of teams have offense. This has just become the new safe thing to do in the NHL. And it's a bad habit that is spread across the league. And the NHL, to me, when 3-on-3 came in, it was super exciting. It's not super exciting anymore. And guess what? We're getting more shootouts. We want fewer shootouts. So this is it's just a trend that they should be looking at. It's a very simple fix. No over and back. I agree with you. I've said that for years now. If you want to even say to the blue line, okay, fine. But even just over and back would be good enough for me. And I would like it way better. Now the
I would start there, and go from there and see how that changes.
The Oilers sloppy game last night, just right from the get-go. They just didn't seem to have great puck management. And that more than the Tristan Jarry coming out to play the puck costing the game.
Yeah, though they didn't control the puck. They didn't play the puck well. The Jarry thing, the only thing I had an issue with is he looked like he was going to go, then he stopped and he wasn't sure. Then he kind of swung his stick out. If you're going to go. Like commit all the way. But yeah, it was a little sloppy. I like the fact that Hohmann scoring those goals, going to the net. I think he took a shot in the face. The first one, I think he hit his face on the crossbar. But yeah, they got him back, and I think he's starting to find that groove again. But yeah, they were sloppy with the puck. They didn't handle it well. They knew they were going to play a pretty motivated team, considering what happened here the last time they played. They won 6-2. I didn't think it was a 6-2 game. Nashville was in the game, and it was the last game of a 7-game road trip. And then once they got down 2 goals, I think it was one of those things. They looked at that mountain and said, "Oh, we're not going to climb that." And the Oilers ended up winning it. So I think they wanted they were going to get a more motivated team this time around. But the Oilers had their opportunities. They jump, they take the lead in that game, and it's a matter of kind of the next shift is always a dangerous shift right after you score, and that's the one that you kind of have to really kind of get through, and then get through the next one and then the one after that. And but overall, it wasn't a terrible effort by the Oilers. But I do think that if they want to start making a run here, got to start putting some wins together here. They haven't won 3 in a row all year. So you got to start, putting some wins together, doing the things you need to do to win games. And it's going to get to that time of year now. They have a ton of home games coming up that McDavid has said it. This is the time where we have to make our run. We have to put stuff together here. We have to string things together here because we're going to have to make a run right now. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of respond with the Islanders in town tomorrow.
Well, the Islanders coming to town, and they'll be a little frustrated. It's the first game all year long that Sorokin allowed 5 goals in a game. And they don't do that very often, so it'll be a tough test for them. The Islanders have been playing pretty well. It's also our opportunity to see a young Schaefer in person for the first time this year. He scored his 13th goal of the season last night. To make a close game, they lost 5-4. The Islanders can score this is not the Islanders of a few years ago where they're just kind of boring team, man. They can bite you if you don't pay attention, but they also have the best goal in the NHL right now. His numbers are off the charts. Last night was somewhat of an anomaly to this season. Obviously, Edmonton would love to do it for a second night, but it's probably going to be difficult to score tomorrow. Edmonton's going to have to be better defensively.
Yeah, they're going to have to be. But yeah, Schaefer coming in here, that's pretty exciting. Like Matthew Schaefer, he's kind of taken the league by storm. He's having a great year. I don't think anyone's going to beat him for the Calder Trophy. I think he's a runaway for the Calder. I thought he probably might have had a chance to get a spot on Team Canada. Never taken an 18-year-old, so I'm sure he came close, and I'm sure that he got a phone call saying, "Be ready, just in case, kid." But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him. You see him on TV. You see the way he moves the puck. You see the way he skates up the ice. He's not afraid to challenge guys at 18. That's the beauty I like about him. He'll take you on. He doesn't care who you are. If he thinks he's got a lane, he's got a way to the net, he'll take you on the outside. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him. He's obviously the next young, bright defenseman in the NHL. And the Islanders, yeah, they're playing really well. Bo Horvat's in town. He's going to be excited about making Team Canada. Looking forward to chatting with him tomorrow. So I think it's going to be a good test for the Edmonton Oilers. It's going to be a very good game. And I think they have to try and kind of get that complete game going. Like they get parts of their game going. The offense is going. Then the defense isn't there so well. The goaltending is going, but they can't score. So they got to try and put it all together. And I'm also interested in seeing what's going to happen with the goaltending situation. Now that Tristan Jarry's back, Connor Ingram has been playing well. Calvin Pickett's been here for a long. They're not going to carry 3 goalies. So they're going to have to make a decision on that probably sooner than later on what's kind of happened. I think they're going to go Ingram and Jarry. I think that's the kind of tandem they want to go with, but who knows? We'll see what the guys do, and I'm sure Chris Knobloch will have some sort of a semblance of a plan because we asked him about it earlier, and he said he wasn't sure what he was going to do.
So you think they might actually move Pickard?
I think so. I think, I just think that they would like that combination. I think Connor Ingram, they know he's a starting goalie. He's a number one guy. He's been a number one guy before. And I think that they brought him in hoping that he could kind of figure out his game, get his things together. And then to me, that's a pretty good combination. You know what you're going to have with Calvin Pickard. Calvin Pickard's been here for 3 years. You know what you can have with him. But I think if you want to go and have a kind of a competition for number one spot, 2 guys fighting for the net every night, then you go with Jarry and Ingram, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on like Ingram's put up better numbers since he's come here. There's no question, right? And obviously they acquired Jarry to be, one of their main guys. So they might just keep 3. I know it's probably not ideal. And if they keep 3, then obviously they're not worried about Ingram going on waivers. The only reason why they'd send Ingram down before Sunday at, I think it's noon or whatever time that before day 30 starts, is that they don't want to have to put him on waivers. But I'm like, well, if you don't think he's ever going to go down the rest of the season, then who cares, right? Yeah. Unless you're that worried that in a month, if you don't want to keep 3 goalies, that Calvin Pickard will get claimed, right? But in a month's time, we looked at it yesterday on the show. The only team I really see who would claim Calvin Pickard today is Philadelphia, because they don't like their backup in Urson. Mm-hmm. But other than that, all the other teams have goalies, and some of them have 3 or 4 goalies. So some of these other teams, when their guys get healthy in the next week or 10 days, they might have to move a goalie down first. And then once Philly claims them, then the next day you could put Pickard on waivers if you were that concerned about it. So I don't know. If you believe Ingram's your best goalie, then you just keep him here. Why would you put him in the minors if you don't have to?
No, I agree. Keep him here if you think he can play. He can be that, and he's played well. I think he's played well. And Jarry's had his moments. He had his moments last night as well. But I think the 2 of them create that competition that they've wanted for a starting spot. They wanted to have that competition going back to, that was the plan when Jack Campbell was here. They were going to go 1 and 1A with him and Stuart Skinner. It didn't work out that way. I don't think Calvin Pickard pushed Skinner enough, because I think Calvin Pickard would give you a good game, but I think he was tough to give you 2 or 3 good games in a row. So I don't think there was ever that competition when him and Stuart Skinner were here. But I do think there is that competition with Ingram and Tristan Jarry, just the way both of them play the game.
Derek Van Diest joins us. DVD, always good to catch up with you, buddy. Enjoy the game tomorrow night. We'll see you at the rink.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on. I'll see you tomorrow.
That is Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. Quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up. Gregor, Allie, Kruger, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca.
the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Chat Brab and 118th.
Think your credit's not good enough for a new ride? Think again. Go Auto's car loan calculator is here to help. No commitments, no credit hits, just real answers. You tell us a few things, and we'll show you what you can afford. Text credit to 780-777-7777. That's credit to 780 all sevens. Go Auto. We do the math, so you can do the driving.
Action Electricals Projects team takes the field, folks. Ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Happy New Year. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for everything in 2025. With your help and your support, we fed almost 500 families. We donated to various charities in the Edmonton area, and we're going to do it again in 2026. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
This is the sound of a Toyota Tundra hauling a custom, fully furnished ice hut out to the lake. And this is the sound of a Tundra hauling home some store-bought frozen cod when the lake didn't deliver. Two extremes, one Tundra with serious towing capacity. Now's the time to get yours. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2026 Tundra 4x4 double cab SR5 from $149 weekly for 60 months at 4.99% with $7,599 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your Prairie Toyota dealer today.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EUL. Get your power play amped up with EUL, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EUL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Man, the Raptors are all over the Pacers early on. It's 48-32. Already no surprise the Pacers aren't very good, but man, they had the Raptors like 1-point favorites in this game. It's kind of a weird one. So Raps early on dominating the Pacers.
Pacers only had 18 points in the first quarter, Gregor. They're now up to 17 in the second with 7.5 minutes left.
Yeah, okay. So they're playing a little bit better in the second quarter is what you're telling me.
A little bit better. Maybe the Raptors taking the foot off the pedal a little bit.
The Raptors are still up, though, big time, right? Like 19 points. So interesting game to watch tonight. The Devils and the Kraken. The Kraken still trying to roll. The Devils trying to see if they can get back on track a little bit. The Sabres and Flyers have just dropped the puck. Senators leaving the Rangers 1-0. And then the game that does impact the Oilers, the Kings are hosting Vegas. Vegas and the Oilers are tied. Vegas does have 3 games in hand. So Edmonton will be rooting for the Kings tonight. Let's get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. You're going to get a great deal. No payments for a year if you like. LegacyHeating.ca. Here's Cam Tate.
We're dedicating this week's 2-minute warning to the legacy of John Short, who loved covering minor sports. John passed away 2 years ago. So, Gregor, I'm sitting at my desk this afternoon, right? And I'm going through website after website, reading these stories about minor hockey coaches. People like you, by the way, who share their time. And that's really the word, isn't it? Share. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, Tater, pick one. Find one great coach, somebody behind the bench in quick card Edmonton minor hockey. But then I start seeing the responses coming in, the numbers from our Twitter poll. And I'm sitting there going, I can't. I just can't pick one. Picture this. It's 5:30 in the morning. The ice is fresh. The coach is already there. Or maybe it's 9 o'clock at night. Doesn't matter. They're there. And before the whistle even blows, they're tying skates. They're grabbing the tape to fix a stick. Sometimes they're doing emergency repairs with whatever they can find, 2 minutes before game time. Here's another one. The coach stays up late, Gregor. They come up with a new line combination. They're excited. Can't wait to see it on the ice. Game day comes, and the phone rings. Sorry, coach, we're stuck in traffic. So they wait. They adjust. They make it work. But here's the thing people don't always see. While all this is happening, and yeah, they're teachers, showing these kids how to skate better, pass better, think the game better. But it's so much more than that. So the numbers keep coming in, and they're speaking loud and clear. We asked, do minor hockey coaches get enough credit? 88% said no. So if you're a coach listening right now, here's 2 words from me. Thank you. We've got 2 more days of Quick Card Minor Hockey Week. Send your stories to cam@sports1440.ca. 2-minute warning. Hallie, Gregor, Kruger, who's mad at me because Twitter wouldn't let him mark X on the Twitter poll. Me, Tater, Sports1440. Hallie.
There you go. Still pretty upset. Deck going to be all right. I think he'll be okay. We'll try to get through it.
I like that second Hallie.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like I added it, but
yeah, it was.
Assure you I did not.
No, I trying to double yourself up there. I was waiting for that one. I'm like, did he forget that he said it the first time in that quick succession? That's what I'd like to know.
He's trying to butter me up. He wants a free coffee when he's in next or something.
Oh, potentially. Potentially. Hey, guys, you guys should do a poll on when you think McDavid's point streak will end. How many games? I'd be curious what people think. Well, it's hard. Like, how do you do? You can't do a poll because there's no poll that has that many options. But I guess unless you did like 5-game increments, but then that's kind of a pretty wide gap. But I don't mind that. Cons, if I had to give you today, how many games the streak goes to? What would be your magic number?
Okay, I'm just looking at the schedule here. Man, like I don't even want to put a number on it because he's so good. It could just continue all season long. Let's say,
wow, that would be a little unlikely.
The 31st of January.
You're picking that Minnesota game?
Minnesota. That's a Saturday night though. Like, it's not going to be pointless on Saturday night. But it was a 1-0 game a while ago against Minnesota, so I'll take that one.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm looking through his game log this year. And obviously, the last time he didn't have a point was that Minnesota game. And then he didn't have a point in Tampa. Didn't have a point in Buffalo. Didn't have a point. So, home game against the Rangers, the home game against Minnesota are the only 2 home games all year that he hasn't registered a point. And, that Ranger game, he had 6 shots on goal. And so that was kind of I remember that game, right? They played quite well. So the fact that they've got all these home games coming up, and the only road game they have soon is in Vancouver. The only road game they have this month is in Vancouver. Well, he kind of beats up on the Canucks for fun. So I think if he gets a point tomorrow night, he runs the table in January. That's what I'll say. And then it's Toronto, and he could go into the Olympic break, right? And then you know what? It would make sense actually to say after the Olympic break, there might be a little bit of a letdown. So I'll say that today. So that'd be, he's at 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, so 29, 31. I'll say he goes 32 games. That's my number. So we'll see. On behalf of Declan Kruger, Connor Halley, all of our guests, if you missed any, go to jasongregor.com. You can get them there, or you can download any podcast or watch the show again on YouTube. All of it, Rich Winter and more. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. The rates never change, no overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
4 games on the ice tonight in the NHL, 3 of which are underway. After 20 minutes, Devils and Kraken tied at 1. Midway through the first, Sabres Flyers scoreless. Sends up on the Rangers 2-0. Later tonight, Kings taking on the Golden Knights. Puck drop just after 8. In the association, the Raptors lead the Pacers 53-36 in the second quarter, and the Cavs up on the Sixers 48-39. Later tonight, Jazz in Chicago. Mavs host the Nuggets. Knicks taking on the Kings, and the Clippers host the Wizards. PWHL right now scoreless between the Boston Fleet and Toronto. That one just about to get going in the second period. In the WHL, the Oil Kings will host Medicine Hat down at Rogers Place. That's starting just after 7. And in the AJ, Bonnieville in Lloyd, Whitecourt hosting Devon. Both those games will start just after 7. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Up next, it is Fox Sports Radio all night long. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the